Chapter 1379. He took out a sensing talisman from the storage ring and activated it. Not here. Lu Changsheng's heart sank slightly. The situation he was most worried about on this trip was that Meng Xiaochan was not at the Five Poisons cult and had gone out on a mission. If his daughter Nangong Yaoyao was at the Five Poisons cult without Meng Xiaochan leading the way, it would be quite troublesome to see his daughter. After all, such a nascent soul-level power as the Five Poisons cult, he couldn't possibly sneak in. This is also why he brought Nangong Meili along with him before. Hopefully Yao Yao is also not at the Five Poisons cult. A blood-tracking talisman appeared in Lu Changsheng's hand. He then smeared his and Nangong Meili's blood onto it. A moment later, the blood-tracking talisman burned and transformed into a small blood-colored snake, slowly guiding them in another direction. Looks like my luck is good. Seeing this, Lu Chongqing showed a hint of smile and then followed the guidance and left. Several days later. Immortal Spider Marketplace. Lu Chongqing looked at the name of the marketplace ahead and stopped his steps. From this name, he roughly guessed that this marketplace belonged to the industry under Nangong Meili's name, arranging for his daughter to undergo training here. Immediately, he paid 10 spirit stones and entered the marketplace. Upon arriving at the marketplace, he did not go directly to find his daughter Nangong Yaoyao. On one hand, seeing her soon, he didn't know in what manner he should meet this daughter. On the other hand, he was also somewhat preparing, wanting to understand a bit about his daughter's situation. Lu Chongqing visited a shop that sold intelligence information, inquiring whether there was any information related to Nangong Yaoyao. Nangong Yaoyao? Upon hearing this, the shopkeeper's eyes and pupils shrank, showing a hint of fear. Then, without showing any emotion, he asked Lu Chongqing to wait for a moment. With divine sense comparable to core formation peak, Lu Chongqing keenly sensed the shopkeeper entering a room and crushing a transmission talisman. Heh. He held the tea, shaking his head with a light laugh. He suspected this was standard procedure where purchasing information related to Nangong Yaoyao would notify the cultivators of the marketplace. This scenario is considered conventional practice in the marketplace. Just like buying intelligence information of forces like by Lake Mountain, Qingzhou Mountain, 100 Birds Lake at Red Leaf Valley Market, would be recorded. Lu Chongqing didn't mind, continuing to drink tea as he waited peacefully. After a short while, the shopkeeper brought a jade slip containing information about Nangong Yaoyao. Is this my daughter? Lu Chongqing looked at the jade slip, seeing Nangong Yaoyao's face partially covered by gauze but still not hiding her breathtaking beauty. He smiled and then began to read through the intelligence inside. This intelligence had clearly been processed. It only contained simple details about Nangong Yaoyao, without much detailed information. Even her cultivation realm was recorded incorrectly. But Xiaochan is also in this marketplace? Lu Chongqing gained a useful piece of information from it. Earlier, he was wondering whether Meng Xiaochan was here as well. Now seeing the records in the jade slip of Nangong Yaoyao and Meng Xiaochan stationed together, he immediately tossed out a middle-grade spirit stone, left the shop, and sat down in a restaurant, activating Meng Xiaocan's sensing talisman. Since Meng Xiaochan was here, it would be much easier for him to see his daughter. He could also learn about his daughter's situation and how her life had been all these years through her. In a splendid palace at the Immortal Spider Marketplace, an absolutely beautiful woman of 18 or 19, dressed in a purple skirt sat cross-legged, with a 5-colored spider coiled beside her. In the 4 corners of the hall, there were respectively coiled a spirit snake, jade toad, centipede, poison scorpion, all emitting threads of venom from their mouths. At this moment, the woman opened her beautiful eyes, her pupils glistening with a purple sheen, adding an ethereal dreamlike beauty to her delicate face. A brocade box appeared in her hand, and she carefully opened it. Inside were several talismans. These were the talismans gifted to her early on by Lu Chongqing. Except for some she used at that time, the remaining talismans were carefully preserved once she returned to Jin Kingdom. This is Lu Lang's sensing talisman. Lu Lang is at the Immortal Spider Marketplace. Meng Xiaochan saw the sensing talisman flashing red and immediately showed a face full of surprise, astonishment, excitement, joy, looking outside. She seemed to see a youth of elegant appearance and handsomely poised stature smiling at her. Why would Lu Lang come to the Immortal Spider Marketplace? Could it be that Master has brought Lu Lang? However, at the next moment, her heart skipped a beat, suspecting that master had captured Lu Chongqing while visiting Jiang country. Otherwise, why would Lu Chongqing appear at the immortal spider marketplace out of nowhere? Biting her lip lightly without thinking much, she hurriedly adjusted her attire, checked her appearance in the mirror, then quickly exited the hall, heading towards the location of the sensing talisman. Salute to the honorable marketplace lord. Salute to senior sister Meng. Salute to uncle master. On the way, cultivators who saw Meng Xiaoquan promptly greeted her with respect. Compared to the righteous path, the demon path was even stricter in hierarchy. Low-rank cultivators meeting high-rank cultivators, and even among sect members, etiquette was greatly emphasized. Moreover, after all these years, Meng Xiaoquan, as a disciple of Nangong Mili, the heavenly spider envoy of the Five Poisons cult, had a fearsome reputation. At this moment, Meng Xiaoquan had no time to pay attention to these people, only quickly heading to the location of the sensing talisman. As she got closer, her heart beat faster and faster, feeling tense, excited, and agitated. Moments later, following the sensing talisman, she arrived at a restaurant, seeing a handsome middle-aged man in a dark brocade robe. Though he didn't look like Lu Chongqing, the mysterious bond formed by the Lockhart Gu made her clearly aware that this was Lu Chongqing. Xiaoquan. Seeing this woman whose features and aura had changed quite a bit since before, Lu Chongqing stood up and called out to her softly. Lu Lang. Upon hearing the gentle call, Meng Xiaoquan could no longer suppress the longing in her heart. Years of yearning and affection surged like a tide. She directly burst into tears of joy and embraced Lu Chongqing. Hiss! 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 Nearby cultivators who knew Meng Xiaoquan watched this scene as if seeing a ghost, gasping in shock, wishing to know who Lu Chongqing was. To make Meng Xiaoquan show such an expression. After all, they all knew that this marketplace lord, not only stunningly beautiful but also the disciple of Nangong Mili, the heavenly spider envoy of the Five Poisons cult, had a fearsome reputation. Yet now, she was calling a man Lu Lang, and her voice was filled with unspeakable longing and tender affection. However, seeing the embrace of the two, these people dared not make any noise, even signaling others to remain silent, so as not to provoke Meng Xiaoquan. Xiaoquan, long time no see. Lu Chongqing hugged Meng Xiaoquan, feeling her longing for him, his heart filled with some guilt. He had actually little feeling for Meng Xiaoquan. Yet she had been deeply affected by the Lockhart Gu, loving him to her core, constantly thinking of him. Although it was self-inflicted with the Lockhart Gu back then. But so many years had passed, Lu Chongqing had long let go of this matter. You could say, a man would have a soft spot for a woman who has constantly been fond of him. And Lu ancestor, although fond of beauty, disdained using methods such as the Lockhart Gu. Lu Lang, why have you come to the immortal spider marketplace? After a moment, Meng Xiaoquan woke from her joy, her cheeks flushed red, like a girl in love, gently asked Lu Chongqing. Let's find a place to continue our talk. Lu Chongqing said, looking at the many people nearby. MHM. Meng Xiaoquan hurriedly nodded in agreement, her beautiful eyes unwilling to let Lu Chongqing out of her sight, leading him away. Search * The Nell Fire. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1380. Meng Xiaoquan led Lu Chongqing to a side hall at Immortal Spider Peak. Xiaoquan, how have you been all these years? After sitting down, Lu Chongqing asked with concern. Previously, he had inquired Nangong Mili about Meng Xiaoquan and her daughter Nangong Yaoyao. But the other party simply brushed it off, unwilling to say much. Besides, even though he knew Meng Xiaoquan was doing well, he still felt he should show concern now that they met. Master treats me very well. Meng Xiaoquan gracefully poured tea for Lu Chongqing, explaining her general situation. After returning that year, although her master knew about the Lockhart Gu matter, he didn't blame her and continued treating her like his own daughter. The only notable change was that she now had an additional junior sister whom she had to care for daily. When talking about this junior sister, Meng Xiaoquan hesitated, wanting to tell Lu Chongqing that she was his daughter. But her master didn't want her disclosing this matter to anyone. Once Lu Chongqing knew about it, it might anger her master, even possibly leading him to have murderous intent towards Lu Chongqing. Moreover, Nangong Yaoyao had hinted at some matters regarding her father in her early years. If Lu Chongqing suddenly appeared, it could greatly impact Nangong Yaoyao's life. Junior sister. Lu Chongqing realized she was referring to Nangong Yaoyao. After a brief contemplation he asked, "Yaoyao, how is she?" Meng Xiaochan was startled and said in surprise, "Lu Lang, you know, about Yaoyao?" "Yes." Lu Chongqing nodded frankly saying, "My visit to Jin Kingdom this time was partly to see you and also to meet Yaoyao." After hearing that Lu Chongqing came to see her, Meng Xiaochan felt a wave of joyful sweetness in her heart. Just as she was about to continue speaking, a clear and pleasant voice sounded from outside. "Sister Xiaochan." A graceful young woman with a veiled face in purple silk floated in. She wore a finely crafted purple cloud brocade dress, her long black hair elegantly draped down like a waterfall, adding a fresh and unworldly charm to her beauty. Her exquisite, stunning features were partly hidden by the purple veil, revealing only eyes like stars, yet her peerless grace was untouched. The veil added an air of mysterious beauty, like the brightest stars in the night sky, making one want to uncover her true face. Buzz! Upon seeing this young woman, Lu Chongqing felt an uncanny blood connection surge within him. He felt a closeness between them, knowing she was his daughter, Nangong Yaoyao. Thinking of how he had never seen or cared for her since her birth, he was overwhelmed with guilt, remorse and heartache. He slightly restrained his mana flow to conceal his aura, preventing Nangong Yaoyao from sensing their blood connection. Having not seen each other for decades, he didn't know how his daughter felt about this father she never met. Anticipation, rejection, or hatred. Search * the novel. F. Iyer. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Thus, he planned to slowly interact with her before revealing the truth. Sister Xiaochan, is this your friend?" Looking at Lu Chongqing, Nangong Yaoyao inspected him briefly and spoke. Her sudden arrival wasn't coincidental. She had heard reports that her sister Xiaochan embraced a man and affectionately called him Lu Lang, sparking her curiosity to see what was happening. Yet, for some reason, upon seeing this elegant and handsome middle-aged man who smiled at her, she felt a strange sense of familiarity. However, this vague familiarity didn't lead Nangong Yaoyao to instinctively approach him, instead making her wary of him. "Why do I feel familiar with him? Is it some charm technique?" The young woman was very aware of her nature. Except for her mother and sister Xiaochan, everyone else was an outsider. She could not naturally feel familiarity with a stranger on their first meeting. Through the cultivation technique and flawless heavenly fragrance Boda spiritual sensing, she felt traces of charm emanating from Lu Chongqing. A grown man practicing charm arts. Although Nangong Yaoyao didn't mind men cultivating charm arts, the traces of charm in his words and actions showed he wasn't a good person. It seemed her sister Xiaochan might be influenced by this man's charm technique. At this moment, Nangong Yaoyao labeled Lu Chongqing as a bad person. Lu Chongqing was unaware that he had left a poor impression on his daughter upon first meeting. The effects of the immortal beauty technique, peach blossom goo, and flawless heavenly fragrance body were seamlessly integrated into him. Unless he used the 9 treasures Rui Bone to completely seal himself and employed magical treasures for disguise and camouflage, he couldn't fully conceal his charm. "Xiaochan," he transmitted a message to Meng Xiaochan, suggesting she chat with Nangong Yaoyao but not reveal his identity. "Yes, this is my friend Yaoyao, you can call him Senior Lu." After a slight hesitation, Meng Xiaochan brought Nangong Yaoyao to sit beside her. Yaoyao greets Senior Lu. Despite having a poor initial impression, Nangong Yaoyao carried herself gracefully, with charming smiles that generated good feelings. "Miss Yaoyao." Lu Chongqing nodded slightly, then found himself unsure of what to say. After all, they had never met, and lived in entirely different environments, making it difficult to find a starting topic. Luckily, Meng Xiaochan was there. She spoke to briefly introduce Lu Chongqing, explaining he was her friend who had come to Immortal Spider Marketplace to see her. "If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1381. So Senior Lu met Sister Xiaochan in Jiang Country. Is Senior Lu also a cultivator from Jiang Country? Nangong Yaoyao's beautiful eyes were clear, giving a lively and cute impression, making people instinctively relax and feel close when facing her. You could say that. Lu Chongqing nodded with a smile, noticing the girl before him had a charming demeanor in her words and actions. What do you mean by you could say that? The girl's lips, delicate like flower petals, pouted slightly, her voice carrying a hint of playfulness. I used to be, but for us cultivators, the world is our home, so it's hard to say which country we belong to. Lu Chongqing saw the little girl was probing him and smiled calmly and naturally. Senior Lu, as someone who calls the world their home, you've surely been to many places. Where besides Jiang Country and Jin Kingdom have you been? Nangong Yao Yao seemed like a curious young girl fascinated by everything, her starry eyes shimmering with admiration and affection, making one dizzy and somewhat dazed. Even though Lu Chongqing knew this little girl had a seductive demeanor in her actions, her gaze still brought him a sense of great satisfaction. I've been to Jiang Country, Yu Country, Liang Country, and Yuan Country. Lu Chongqing began to speak nonsense with a serious demeanor. Anyway, he hadn't been to those places, and by the looks of it, Nangong Yao Yao certainly hadn't been either. With his knowledge and experience, fooling a little girl wasn't much of a problem. The three chatted and laughed. Most of the time Nangong Yao Yao was asking questions, Lu Chongqing was talking, and Meng Xiaochan added a few words. During the whole process, Nangong Yao Yao seemed full of curiosity but was actually probing for information about Lu Chongqing. Had Lu Chongqing not been at core formation level, with a clear soul and some experience, he would have surely been led by his daughter. If it were peers of her age, wouldn't my daughter lead them around like dogs? Lu Chongqing pondered secretly, momentarily unsure how to assess this daughter. Smart, quirky, adept at disguising, knowing how to utilize her advantages. But thinking how this daughter faced everyone with such charming smiles, Lu Chongqing suddenly felt somewhat displeased. Senior Lu, Sister Xiaochan, there's something at the marketplace, I'll head over first, let's chat later. An hour later, Nangong Yao Yao stood up and spoke. She already noticed that Lu Chongqing was elusive, with Sister Xiaochan covering for him, making it difficult to ask detailed questions. Better to pause here, investigate the general situation, gossip later about Meng Xiaochan and Lu Chongqing, and remind Meng Xiaochan about him. Pleasant meeting, I have no gift. Hey, race a little token from Lu. Lu Chongqing took out 3 talismans from his storage ring and gave them to Nangong Yao Yao. On this trip, he prepared a gift, heavenly fragrance goo for his daughter. Only on this first meeting couldn't he give such a precious gift. Otherwise, anyone could see there was an issue. These are third-rank talismans. Nangong Yao Yao looked at the talismans before her, somewhat surprised. Saw the novel, F.I.R. Et website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Though she had a mother who was at core formation, not lacking elixir medicines or talismans, adorned with top-level spiritual artifacts. Yet third-rank talismans were still very precious to her. Lu happens to be a talisman master, usually making some talismans, so little friend can keep them. Lu Chongqing said with a gentle handsome smile. Yao Yao thanks Senior Lu. Nangong Yao Yao had a hesitant look, then smiled warmly, taking them without refusal before leaving. Phew! Seeing Nangong Yao Yao leave, Lu Chongqing suddenly let out a long breath. To be honest, just now facing this daughter, his mental spirit was somewhat tense. He pondered asking her views on her father, future plans, opinions on justice and evil paths, but feared making her wary, ultimately saying nothing. Lu Lang, Yao Yao likely came worrying about my situation. Meng Xiaochan also let out a breath, speaking to Lu Chongqing. She too worried they might reveal themselves while chatting, then recognize each other. Not that she feared recognition. On one hand, uncertain of Nangong Yao Yao's attitude toward Lu Chongqing. On the other, fearing her master would return, know they recognized each other, then harbor killing intent against Lu Chongqing. Pretty good. Lu Chongqing chuckled softly. Previously, he feared his daughter might be bullied in the 5 poison cult. Now it seems, few could actually bully her. With Nangong melee around, ordinary high-rank cultivators wouldn't bully her. Xiaochan, tell me about Yao Yao. Lu Chongqing gently pinched Meng Xiaocan's delicate hand, then took spiritual spring water from his storage ring, brewed a pot of spiritual tea, and spoke. He just wanted to ask about Nangong Yao Yao earlier, but she arrived, leading him to limited understanding of his daughter now. Yao Yao has been very obedient and smart since childhood, learns everything quickly. Meng Xiaochan nodded lightly, telling Lu Chongqing about Nangong Yao Yao's character, temperament, likes, and childhood anecdotes. Meanwhile, Marketplace Management Center. Lu Wuming, 9th level foundation establishment. Nangong Yao Yao looked at a name on the marketplace register, reflecting. Soon after, she used the Jade Scroll to check the identity Jade token and trace the movements within the marketplace. Seeing Lu Chongqing enter the marketplace and visit an intelligence shop, her starry eyes flickered slightly. Mere moments later, Nangong Yao Yao arrived at the intelligence shop, asking about the information Lu Chongqing had purchased there. Purchased my information? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1382. Nangong Yao Yao heard this news and was immediately filled with suspicion and surprise. Unexpectedly, the first thing the other party did upon arriving at the marketplace was to purchase information about herself. Who exactly is he? Nangong Yao Yao thought of when she met the other person. There was an inexplicable sense of familiarity. The man always smiled gently and spoke patiently during their conversation, like a wise elder who was humble and broad-minded. She couldn't help pondering. But thinking of the relationship between the other person and her sister Xiaochan, she shook her head. Lu Wuming. A moment later, Nangong Yao Yao murmured this name with her starry eyes twinkling. If before, she was curious because of Meng Xiaoquan's relationship with the other person, now she was curious about Lu Changsheng's identity, wanting to know what he came to the Immortal Spider Marketplace for. The next day, Lu Chongqing thought about how to find an opportunity to talk to Nangong Yao Yao. But after much consideration, he indeed couldn't think of a good reason, as it would be too abrupt. Then he and Meng Xiaochan wandered around the Immortal Spider Marketplace to appreciate the local customs and culture. This time coming to the Gene Kingdom, he had been traveling non-stop and hadn't had the chance to experience the situation with the cultivators here. Walking down the street, besides most cultivators having an improper aura, with some full of evil qi, some with a sinister qi, and others reeking of blood, the rest were more or less the same as the cultivators of Zhong country. This is normal, as the Gene Kingdom is part of the demon path cultivation world, with most people practicing demonic techniques. But practicing demonic techniques doesn't mean these people are homicidal or have issues. During this time, Meng Xiaochan also explained to Lu Chongqing some differences and ideologies between the two countries. The Gene Kingdom doesn't prohibit any cultivation techniques, with both demonic and orthodox techniques available. But relatively speaking, more people practice demonic techniques. On one hand, it's due to the soil being this way. On the other hand, it's also because the speed of cultivating demonic techniques is faster, suitable for loose cultivators. Meng Xiaochan wore a purple dress, her beauty ethereal, giving off a mesmerizing aura to those who looked at her. Lu Chongqing nodded, understanding the differences between demonic and orthodox cultivation techniques. Compared to orthodox techniques, the speed of practicing demonic techniques is indeed faster. But breaking through realms is much more difficult. Moreover, forming a perfect Dao foundation or superior grade gold core with demonic techniques is much harder than with orthodox techniques. However, not all demonic techniques can be casually cultivated in the Gene Kingdom, as many are also prohibited, Meng Xiaochan continued, indicating that techniques that require killing to advance are not allowed even in the Gene Kingdom. After all, for demonic sects, both mortals and cultivators are resources, and they won't allow others to kill wantonly. If some power does such things on its territory, other forces might turn a blind eye. But besides loose cultivators, very few would practice such techniques. Because generally speaking, when breaking through from core formation to nascent soul, one would encounter the demonic tribulation and heavenly tribulation. But with such cultivation techniques, even breaking through from foundation establishment to core formation could trigger the demonic tribulation and heavenly tribulation. Therefore, practicing such techniques makes breaking through core formation nearly impossible. Only some loose cultivators with nowhere else to go would practice such techniques. These techniques being circulated are likely deliberately done by certain forces, right? Lu Chongqing said casually. In Zhong country, all cultivation techniques at the advanced level and above are controlled by the four great immortal sects and family forces, leaving loose cultivators with few access points. He didn't believe the Gene Kingdom didn't have similar practices. Yes, like the Heavenly Corpse sect often circulates some techniques. If someone practices these techniques, they later become suitable for the heavenly corpse sex corpse refinement. Meng Xiaochuan nodded and said, "Heh." Lu Chongqing shook his head and chuckled. Sister Xiaochuan. Just then a young girl in a purple dress approached gracefully, and upon seeing Lu Chongqing, she exclaimed in surprise, "Senior Lu, you're here too." Sister Xiaochuan, there's something I need you to handle. As for Senior Lu, let me show him around instead. The girl was still veiled with a purple veil, her vibrant purple dress making many cultivators in the marketplace gaze respectfully, admiringly, and lovingly, but not daring to stare too much, lest they offend the beauty. Of course, this was also because, in years past, a cultivator who stared lecherously at Nangong Yao Yao had his eyes dug out and was thrown out of the marketplace. Meng Xiaochuan heard this and, seeing the cute girl in front of her, hesitated, suspecting that she might have realized something. After all, since childhood, the girl had been wise and mischievous, so it's normal for her to have suspicions with the sudden presence of someone like Lu Chongqing. Sister Xiaochuan, you go ahead. I'll have a chat with Yao Yao. Lu Chongqing conveyed through sound transmission to Meng Xiaochuan. ** the novel. F. Iyer. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Lang, Yao Yao might have guessed your identity. Be a bit cautious. I also don't know her attitude towards you. Meng Xiaochuan transmitted back and then nodded to Nangong Yao Yao, flying towards Heavenly Spider Peak. In that case, I'll leave it to Miss Yao Yao. Lu Chongqing looked at the purple-dressed girl in front of him and smiled lightly. He could clearly see that there was something up with her. In fact, he believed this so-called chance encounter was something the girl had actively orchestrated. However, since she wanted to chat with him, he didn't mind talking. What would Senior Lu like to see? The girl blinked her starry eyes, twinkling brightly, like the most splendid star in the night sky. Easy. We can stroll around anywhere. Lu Chongqing laughed. The two walked along the street. How long does Senior Lu plan to stay at the Immortal Spider Marketplace? Nangong Yao Yao asked casually. I might stay for a while. I'm not sure about the specifics. Lu Chongqing replied. Will Senior invite Sister Xiaochuan to leave with you? The girl glanced at Lu Chongqing and asked. That depends on Xiaofan's wishes. Lu Chongqing said casually, then glanced at the girl and asked, Miss Yao Yao, have you practiced charming skills? Indeed, Yao Yao has dual cultivated in these techniques, but not with the intention to charm others. Nangong Yao Yao said a little aggrieved, thinking that the other party's methods were exceptional, seeing traces of charm in her. Then she looked at Lu Chongqing, tilted her head adorably, and said, I noticed, Senior Lu, it seems you've practiced charming skills too? Lu Chongqing was taken aback. But thinking of his current situation, claiming to have practiced charming skills made sense. I dabbled a little in the past. He smiled and said, not bothering to explain further. It's quite rare for men to practice charming skills. The girl's rosy lips arched into a smile, she said playfully. Haha, I just happened to acquire the inheritance, so I studied it for a while. Lu Chongqing laughed. If Miss Yao Yao is interested, we could exchange and discuss it sometime. During their conversation, they found a restaurant and sat down. Nangong Yao Yao took the initiative to pour tea for Lu Chongqing, who raised his hand to stop her, indicating he would do it himself. With a flick of his hand, he took out his usual tea utensils from his storage ring and skillfully brewed tea. This is tea I obtained while traveling in the Wu country, Miss Yao Yao, have a taste. Lu Chongqing said with a light smile. This tea was something he acquired from the White Peak Immortal, belonging to the 3rd rank. As for the water, it was sourced from his own spiritual eye spring. Using such tea was to divert attention from his fabricated words yesterday. And also when facing his daughter, he instinctively brought out good things. This tea is truly delicious. The girl took a small sip, her brows arching delightfully. If Miss Yao Yao likes it, I have some more. Consider it a guide fee. Lu Chongqing smiled as he handed the remaining small jar of tea leaves to her. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1383. No, it's too valuable. Mother said not to randomly accept things from others. Nangong Yao Yao had an obedient and cute expression, repeatedly refusing. It's all right, these tea leaves aren't worth much, and besides, Xiaochan is busy, so I might need to trouble Miss Yao Yao next. Lu Chongqing said with gentle eyes and a smile. Then thank you, Senior Lu. Nangong Yao Yao refused twice and then accepted with a cheerful smile. The two then drank tea and chatted together. From charming skills to other cultivation techniques, and related cultivation. Although Lu Chongqing did not cultivate charming skills, his current understanding of cultivation techniques made it exceedingly easy to guide a young girl at the foundation establishment stage. Even though her mother was at the core formation stage, giving her a natural advantage through exposure, she was still several levels beneath Lu Chongqing. Throughout the process, Lu Chongqing talked from ordinary bewitching techniques and charm techniques to 7 emotions and 6 desires, stirring others' mental spirit. The 6 desires arise from the heart. A fleeting thought separates immortals and demons. I happen to have a cultivation technique named 6 Desires Heart Demon Technique. If Miss Yao Yao is interested, you can study it a bit. Lu Chongqing spoke up, taking out a cultivation technique jade slip from his storage ring. This cultivation technique was very top level, but cultivating it was too dangerous, hence it was not placed in the family's library. However, the clever and gifted girl in front of him could attempt to cultivate it. Given her situation, if she could master this technique, her combat power and charming skills would be tremendously enhanced. Ah, wouldn't this be too precious? Nangong Yao Yao blinked her somewhat beautiful eyes, with an innocent and cute expression. It's no big deal, I find chatting with young friends quite enjoyable, so don't be shy. Lu Chongqing chuckled, handing the jade slip to her. He then explained some key points, precautions, and expressed that if she had any questions or doubts, she could directly come to him. Thank you, Senior Lu. Nangong Yao Yao said with a joyful smile. Goodbye, Senior Lu. The young girl cheerfully waved at Lu Chongqing, then gracefully departed. It seems my daughter has already figured out my identity. Lu Chongqing watched Nangong Yao Yao's figure, squinting slightly, murmuring to himself. He had previously reviewed this daughter's information and learned from Meng Xiaochan about her, knowing she was not as innocent as she seemed. But today in their interaction, she behaved completely like an innocent and inexperienced cute girl in front of him, clearly intentionally disguising to make him lower his guard and then learn about him. Is this considered a test? Lu Chongqing rubbed his chin and then shook his head with a light chuckle. Currently having nothing else to do, he didn't mind playing along with this daughter. Sister Xiaochan. Nangong Yao Yao didn't return to her residence but instead found Meng Xiaochan before Lu Chongqing. CTH novel_fire. Et website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Yao Yao, how did your chat with Lu, the senior, go? Meng Xiaochan looked at the girl in the purple dress with a doting gaze. Sister Xiaochan, is this Senior Lu my father? Nangong Yao Yao asked with her head tilted, holding Meng Xiaocan's arm. Her face was full of smiles, yet her expression was very calm, as if she was talking about something very ordinary. Boom! Meng Xiaocan's heart skipped a beat, silently exclaiming that Yao Yao had indeed guessed Lu Lang's identity. Not only did she have a breathtaking appearance that could charm hearts, but she also had eyes that could see through others. When meeting Lu Chongqing before, she probably already had this guess, and now with their interaction, she might have confirmed most of it. Yao Yao knows. Afraid of making Meng Xiaochan embarrassed, the young girl did not push her to say the answer, she said with a smile. She then snuggled against her arm, coyly said, Sister Xiaochan, what kind of person is Senior Lu? In Meng Xiaocan's mind, Lu Chongqing had been idealized countless times, but when it came time to express it to Nangong Yao Yao, she didn't know where to start. However, seeing the girl's face full of genuine curiosity, she eventually began to describe the Lu Chongqing she knew. Lu. Taoist, he is not only handsome in appearance but also immensely talented. He has profound knowledge. Not only in cultivation but in many fields he has remarkable achievements, facing any matter calmly and resolving risks with ease. He has a broad mind, treats others with humility, understands everything thoroughly, and is benevolent, responsible, like a perfect gentleman. He not only has the ambition to swallow the heavens but also has tender feelings. Hearing Meng Xiaocan's words, Nangong Yao Yao was a bit stunned. Thinking, was Sister Xiaochan bewitched? Who praises someone like this? But considering Meng Xiaochan would never deceive her, hearing such incredible words, she felt it quite true. On one hand, from today's conversation, she could feel this senior Lu's knowledge was entirely beyond what a ninth-level foundation establishment cultivator should possess. His insights into cultivation did not seem inferior to her mother's, perhaps even surpassing them. Moreover, she was aware of her mother's personality. She couldn't understand what kind of man would captivate her mother enough to give birth to her. For a long time, she believed that he had conflicts or enmity with her mother, which was why her mother always said she had no father. But if such a flawless man existed, it seemed plausible for her mother to fall in love with him. After saying almost everything, Meng Xiaochan asked the girl in the purple dress, "Yao Yao, how did your chat with Senior Lu go?" "It was great. Senior Lu not only gave me a jar of tea leaves but also a cultivation technique." Nangong Yao Yao shared the day's events with Meng Xiaochan. Although she didn't reveal their relationship, she has always been candid with Meng Xiaochan. "If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1384. The two chatted and laughed like sisters. "Sister Xiaochan, you must keep it a secret." After chatting for a while, Nangong Yao Yao winked at Meng Xiaochan and said, "Okay." Meng Xiaochan lovingly patted the girl's glossy and smooth hair. That night, "Lu Lang, Yao Yao has already confirmed your identity, but she's not ready to acknowledge it yet. She probably wants to know more about you." Meng Xiaochan, dressed in a purple gown, nestled in Lu Changsheng's embrace and whispered, Let her be." Lu Changsheng chuckled lightly. Since his daughter wants more interactions, he doesn't mind. It's just a chance to gain her favor earlier. Anyway, calculating the time, Nangong Meili won't return for another month or two, so there's no rush. When Yao Yao was young, she often asked about her father, but her master remained tight-lipped, and so Yao Yao gradually stopped asking. Meng Xiaochan continued talking about Nangong Yao Yao's childhood. She was especially well protected by Nangong Meili when she was young, truly innocent and naive. However, Nangong Meili also understood that in a place like the Jin Kingdom's Five Poisons cult, being too innocent isn't a good thing. So, as Yao Yao grew older, she was gradually exposed to the world's dangers. Listening, Lu Chongqing not only understood Nangong Yao Yao better but also shifted his impressions of Nangong Meili. This woman, though a demonic path cultivator, is quite a competent mother. Probably because of this, she chose to give birth to Yao Yao, and when she heard he was coming to see Yao Yao, she was so nervous. In the ensuing days, Nangong Yao Yao often came to chat with Lu Chongqing. Besides seeking advice on the Six Desires Heart Demon technique, she sought guidance on cultivation and other related matters. For all these inquiries, Lu Chongqing responded patiently. He even showcased his skills in alchemy, artifact refining, talisman making, puppetry, music mastery, spiritual cooking, wine brewing, and so forth. During this process, every time he exhibited a skill, Nangong Yao Yao's eyes sparkled with admiration as she looked at Lu Chongqing with awe and reverence. At these moments, Lu Chongqing felt a lack in his cultivation techniques and skills. If only he knew gu breeding, gu refining, poison techniques, etc., he could showcase them well in front of his daughter. Lu Lang, when do you plan to reveal the truth to Yao Yao? That night, Meng Xiaochan softly asked Lu Chongqing. She noticed that the father and daughter had been getting along quite well, and Nangong Yao Yao had a favorable impression of Lu Chongqing as her father. Yao Yao probably wants to know what happened between her mother and me years ago, and worries that acknowledging me would upset her mother. Lu Chongqing shook his head gently. Through these days of interaction, he understood why Nangong Yao Yao was hesitant to reveal their relationship. Compared to him as a father, she leaned more towards her mother. That's normal. After all, he had only known her for this short period, and how could his standing in her heart surpass Nangong Meili? Master went to the Jin Kingdom earlier and hasn't returned yet, Meng Xiaochan said softly, looking worried. She not only worried about her master's well-being but also about her master's encounter with Lu Chongqing. She should be back in about a month. Lu Chongqing said. Oh! Meng Xiaochan was stunned, looking at Lu Chongqing in surprise. Lu Lang, how do you know that? I met her earlier. Initially, I wanted to come see Yao Yao with her, but she was unwilling, so I came first. Lu Chongqing didn't hide anything from Meng Xiaochan and said directly. What? Lu Lang, you met Master? Meng Xiaochan was even more bewildered. Lu Lang had already met Master and wanted to come with her to see Yao Yao. But Master's trip to Jiang country, wasn't she supposed to confront Lu Lang? Why didn't anything happen? And Lu Lang arrived at the Immortal Spider Marketplace first. She was utterly confused. Lu Lang, Master Shi. Meng Xiaochan spoke but hesitated, unsure what to say. Despite her deep affection for Lu Chongqing and her sole focus on his well-being, she held profound feelings for her master Nangong Meili. Thinking that nothing had happened, she hoped no further conflicts would arise between the two. Don't worry, I've already broken through core formation, so there's no need to worry about your master. Lu Chongqing naturally understood what she wanted to say and chuckled lightly. What, Lu Lang? You've broken through core formation already? Meng Xiaochan was astonished, looking at Lu Chongqing. Consider, she reached foundation establishment before Lu Chongqing. Since arriving in the Gene Kingdom, she refined the myriad poisons devouring heart technique, using the heart-eating goo to its peak and tapped into her 1,000 threads of poison bodhi's potential, progressing quickly in cultivation, having reached the 9th level foundation establishment. But breaking through to core formation was still uncertain. CTH Novelfire, NE*T website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. On one hand, she needed to solidify her foundation. On the other, breaking foundation establishment into core formation required extensive preparation. Even being a true inheritor of the 5 poisons cult with a core formation master, she had to accumulate enough contribution points and redeem the coagulation crystal elixir for a secure breakthrough to core formation. Completing all these would take at least 10 years, even 2 or 3 decades. Yet Lu Chongqing had already broken through to core formation at this moment. His speed was astonishing. Indeed. Lu Chongqing nodded with a smile. No wonder you are Lu Lang, truly exceptional. Meng Xiaocan's eyes were filled with admiration and pride. Her beloved breaking through to core formation at such a young age brought her immense joy and pride. But Master's cultivation level already broke through to middle stage core formation, so Lu Lang, you should still be cautious. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1385. She continued to remind him. She indicated that although Master was severely damaged in Jiuxiao Immortal City early on, with his life-bound heavenly spider killed, he still had some means that were impossible to guard against. Don't worry, I'm confident. Lu Chongqing didn't say much, just responded with a calm and composed tone. But from his seemingly plain tone, Meng Xiaochan could hear an undeniable confidence. She quietly nestled in Lu Changsheng's arms, and her initially anxious heart completely relaxed, feeling nothing but tranquility. On this day, Lu Chongsheng and Nangong Yao Yao left Immortal Spider Marketplace to go out and play. After all, Immortal Spider Marketplace was only so big. The two had already explored it thoroughly over the past month, so Nangong Yao Yao saw that Lu Chongqing was new to Gene Kingdom, and decided to take him out for a walk. Senior Lu, there's a little eatery called Iron Crutchley Snacks at the Loose Cultivator Stronghold ahead, which is very delicious. I've been there several times with Sister Xiaochan before. Nangong Yao Yao wore a purple dress with a veil over her face, her eyes sparkling like stars, lively and adorable. Lu Chongqing could tell that the way she appeared now was not a disguise. She was genuinely relaxed, lively, and happy. From previous conversations, he knew Nangong Yao Yao rarely left the marketplace alone. When going out to have fun, she mostly went with her mother Nangong Meili or Meng Xiaochan. Now, going out with him and being so relaxed indicated that she had accepted him in her heart. However, thinking of the imminent return of Nangong Meili, Lu Chongqing felt a bit of a headache. After all, once she returned, if she said something bad, the efforts of these days would be in vain. Haha, then let's go have a taste. Lu Chongqing laughed gently, planning to come clean with his daughter later. After all, without Nangong Meili, he was still willing to continue playing with his daughter like this. But with Nangong Meili as an unstable factor, now that the time was about right, it was unnecessary to drag it out any longer. The two chatting and laughing arrived at a small village. Nangong Yao Yao took Lu Chongqing to a small shop with a sign Iron Crutchley Snacks, and they could see the owner had one leg crippled. Senior Lu, how's the taste? Nangong Yao Yao asked with a beaming smile. It's delicious. Lu Chongqing looked at the scorpions and centipedes in front of him, and twitched the corner of his mouth as he spoke. To be honest, the taste was okay, but he truly had no interest in this kind of food. Hee hee. Seeing this, Nangong Yao Yao's eyebrows curved, her face full of smiles. At this moment, Lu Chongqing suddenly turned his head and saw a distant tavern. At the window on the second floor of the tavern, there was a thin gray-haired old man, staring at this place. A nascent soul cultivator? Lu Chongqing squinted his eyes slightly, his heart moved slightly, realizing this was a nascent soul cultivator. And the other party was clearly looking in his direction just now. How could a nascent soul cultivator appear in a place meant for energy-refining cultivators? The thin old man also noticed Lu Chongqing looking over, his small eyes shifting like green beans, captivating. Who is this person? The old man frowned. For the other party to notice him, he was definitely not an ordinary cultivator, most likely a nascent soul cultivator. But in his memory, he didn't recall such a nascent soul cultivator. Could it be someone Nangong Meili invited to protect her daughter? The old man's murky eyes glowed with a ghostly green light. Although Nangong Meili claimed in public that this daughter was adopted. But many people speculated this was her biological daughter, seeing how the mother and daughter looked alike and how Nangong Meili treated her like a treasure. No matter what, this is an opportunity. As long as I can capture this girl and prevent her from returning to the sect, Fenger will have one less competitor. Once this matter blows over, release her afterwards, and even if Nangong Meili comes back, she won't have much to say. The old man's narrow eyes shifted, his gaze spinning, as he contemplated inwardly. As for Lu Chongqing next to her, he wasn't overly concerned. Although the other party might be a nascent soul cultivator, it's just a possibility. Even if they are a nascent soul cultivator, there are differences in strength. Are they coming for Yao Yao? Lu Chongqing withdrew his gaze and observed the elder's situation through the Tai divine soul. He realized the person's target was his daughter, Nangong Yao Yao. Could it be that right after his daughter left the marketplace, she caught the attention of a nascent soul cultivator? Isn't that too much of a coincidence? Besides, why would this person be interested in Nangong Yao Yao? SAR the Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Spiritual body? It shouldn't be. Nangong Yao Yao's flawless heavenly fragrance body was concealed by Nangong Meili with a certain treasure, making it difficult for ordinary people to recognize it directly. An enemy of Nangong Meili? Constantly watching Nangong Yao Yao, preparing to make a move now that she left the marketplace? No matter what it is, Lu Chongqing naturally wants to solve this trouble for his daughter at this moment. Moreover, in his view, this is a good opportunity. He can take the chance to show off a little in front of his daughter and then reveal his identity. Perfect. Lu Chongqing made up his mind, thinking about how to act a bit more handsome later. Suddenly, he frowned slightly, realizing something was wrong. It seemed like in the air. There's poison. Lu Chongqing immediately realized the air was poisoned. The next moment. Thud. 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 People nearby suddenly collapsed one by one. Senior Lu, be careful, there's poison. Without waiting for Lu Chongqing to speak, Nangong Yao Yao realized there was poison, immediately held her breath, enveloped her body with mana, and said through sound transmission. Buzz. A thin elder with gray-white hair and a centipede scar on his face slowly approached. He seemed sluggish, but in the blink of an eye, he was several yards away from Lu Chongqing and Nangong Yao Yao. Looking at Nangong Yao Yao, he said, Niece Nangong, Uncle has some matters, would you come with me? I wonder what Uncle Feng Wu wants with Yao Yao? Nangong Yao Yao felt her mana was somewhat sluggish but still maintained a calm demeanor, speaking with a sweet and adorable face. 5 Poisons Cult, Envoy Feng Wu? Lu Chongqing was somewhat surprised. He didn't know much about the 5 Poisons Cult, only that the 5 Poisons Cult leader was a nascent soul true lord, with subordinates including the Spirit Snake, Jade Toad, Heavenly Spider, Wind Centipede, and Holy Scorpion, 5 envoys. All 5 are nascent soul immortals, of which Nangong Meili is the Heavenly Spider envoy. Now Nangong Yao Yao calls the elder in front of her Uncle Feng Wu, indicating that this person is the Wind Centipede envoy of the 5 Poisons Cult. But why would this Wind Centipede envoy make a move against Nangong Yao Yao? Even the demon sect wouldn't go to such lengths, would they? Rest assured, Uncle only invites you to stay for a few days. Wind Centipede Envoy stood with hands behind his back, his figure slightly hunched, his voice old and hoarse. Yao Yao needs to inform Mother of this matter first. If Mother agrees, Yao Yao will follow Uncle's arrangement. Nangong Yao Yao still wore a sweet face, her voice sugary. But her hand was already holding several talismans. Hey, little girl, no need to play tricks, just come with the old man. The elder chuckled, raising his hand lightly. With methods like these of Nangong Yao Yao's, she would undoubtedly stand out among her peers. But in front of him, a nascent soul immortal, she was utterly without concealment. Buzz! Nangong Yao Yao suddenly felt a light breeze blow over, her mana ceasing to flow, her body difficult to move. Old man, to touch my daughter in front of me. You truly have immense courage. At this moment, Lu Chongqing stood up next to them, looked at the Wind Centipede Envoy in front, and spoke in a calm and indifferent tone. Senior Lu, Nangong Yao Yao upon hearing these words seemed not joyful but rather anxious, saying, Uncle Fengwu won't harm me, please don't. She understood that the elder in front wouldn't take her life, but with Lu Chongqing it might not be the same. However, before she could finish her words, Lu Chongqing reached out with a warm and broad hand, gently stroking her hair, speaking softly, Yao Yao, with Dad here, don't be afraid. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1386. Yao Yao, with your father here, don't be afraid. The gentle and mellow voice was like a spring breeze brushing across her ear, making Nangong Yao Yao's expression freeze. A wave of unprecedented comfort and peace swept through her heart. She slightly lifted her forehead, staring blankly at Lu Chongqing before her. Even though she had long guessed that Lu Chongqing was her father, the sudden acknowledgement still left her in a daze. Are you really my father? Nangong Yao Yao's lips parted slightly, her beautiful eyes dazed, with emotions like excitement, surprise, joy, nervousness, and longing flowing through them. Didn't you already guess it? Lu Chongqing smiled and spoke, no longer concealing his presence. Instantly, a bloodline resonance formed between father and daughter, creating a miraculous sense of affinity. So you're the man of Nangong Meili? The Wind Centipede Envoy heard these words, looking at Lu Chongqing with some surprise and astonishment. After scrutinizing him for a moment, he chuckled softly. I never thought Nangong Meili would choose such a man. It is truly interesting. As one of the 5 Poisons cult's envoys, he was naturally very familiar with Nangong Meili. He knew this woman's beauty was enchantingly seductive, enough to captivate nations, but her heart was venomous like a serpent. She never spared any words to men, using them until they were exhausted, then discarding them like used rags. Yet Lu Chongqing, with decent looks and only at the initial stage of core formation, had caught Nangong Meili's eye and even had a child with her. To dare speak to this old man this way, I shall see what you can do. Otherwise, today's father-daughter reunion will become a farewell. The old man's voice was hoarse and piercing, unpredictable, suddenly making gesture incantations with his hands, causing fierce winds to rise from all directions, sweeping towards Lu Chongqing. Father, be careful. Nangong Yao Yao hastily warned. Though she didn't know her newly acknowledged father's strength, she knew the old man's power was fathomless, not at all inferior to her mother's. Noisy! Lu Chongqing suddenly looked towards the Wind Centipede Envoy, his refined and handsome face instantly becoming dignified and stern. His eyes like torches, 2 beams of golden light shot straight out, penetrating the heavens and earth, breaking through the gale and attacking the old man. Impudent! The Wind Centipede Envoy shouted coldly, a bamboo staff appearing in his hand that looked coiled with 12 centipedes, lightly striking forward. Hiss hiss hiss! The 12 centipedes seemed to come alive, bearing fangs and brandishing claws, spewing black mist, making it impossible for the golden light to advance. Boom! However, at that moment, a yin-yang hand with distinct textures appeared in the heavenly dome at an unknown time, pressing down with rolling might, majestic and boundless. This massive hand was like an ancient small mountain, permeated with a frightening force, pressing towards the old man, making his whole body feel heavy and appalled, instantly surrounded by gale winds as his figure darted aside, unpredictably. At this moment, Lu Changsheng's eyes slightly narrowed, realizing there was a pervasive poison in the air. Letting out a cold snort, a formless treasure wheel appeared behind his head, flowing with brilliant mysterious light. Boom! Immediately following, the formless treasure wheel blazed like a wheel of fire, resonating with the yin-yang law domain, protecting Nangong Yao Yao, then suppressing towards the old man. Buzz! The unpredictable wind centipede envoy instantly felt an invisible mana constraint upon him, slowing his entire mana a few notches. How is this possible? He gazed at Lu Chongqing with shock, not expecting that being at the initial stage of core formation, the opponent would have such prowess. Watching the massive hand press down towards him again, he struck with his centipede staff, the 12 centipedes roaring and howling like 12 flood dragons, teeth and claws bared, blocking the one chi grand capture. Yet he found this yin-yang hand's pressure growing heavier like an ancient divine mountain, immediately letting out a sharp whistle. Hiss hiss hiss. Suddenly, from the distance, a massive centipede resembling an earth dragon burrowed out, raising a gale, seemingly trying to take Nangong Yao Yao away. Courting death. Seeing this, Lu Changsheng's 9 treasures Rui bone on his chest erupted brilliantly, his entire magical aura roaring like a tsunami. Sarch * the novel. F. Iyer. Et website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. The hand suppressing the old man suddenly exploded with a profound aura like an ocean abyss, as if the 9th heaven directly crashed down, suppressing so that he vomited blood, unable to move. Boom! Simultaneously, the distant black centipede was also suppressed by a yin-yang mysterious light filled with a powerful aura, letting out a mournful cry. Go! The wind centipede envoy, hair disheveled, with a pitiful expression and panic in his heart, knowing he was no match for Lu Chongqing. His figure instantly turned wind-like, unpredictable, attempting to escape. Think you can leave? Lu Changsheng's expression turned icy, stepping forward, pushing his yin-yang law domain to its limit, interwoven with a yin-yang Taoist chart, making this expanse of void freeze, like a cage. Then he appeared in front of the old man, his 5 fingers forming a fist, suddenly smashing out, breaking all his bones, causing him to vomit blood, his true elixir dimmed. At this moment, Nangong Yao Yao beside him watched in amazement. This, her newly acknowledged father was too powerful, wasn't he? One must know that this wind centipede envoy was an envoy of the 5 poisons cult, same as her mother. His strength was unfathomable. Yet now, in just a few short moves, he was beaten by her father to the point of vomiting blood. Father! She hurriedly called out, signaling Lu Chongqing not to kill. After all, this was the territory of the 5 poisons cult. If he killed the 5 poisons cult's wind centipede envoy here, it would provoke great trouble. Yes. Lu Chongqing naturally understood this principle, nodded slightly, and the yin-yang qi grasp immediately suppressed and detained him. Then the formless treasure wheel burst forth with dazzling glow, manifesting a realm that suppressed the wind centipede envoy within. As a nascent soul immortal of the 5 poisons cult, under the current circumstances, it was indeed unwise to slay him. Moreover, the fact that he came unannounced to attack his daughter definitely had a reason. It would be better to wait for Nangong merely to come back and handle it. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1387, Esis. Not far away, a dark centipede, resembling an earth dragon, hissed at the scene, black gas swirling as it desperately struggled against the yin-yang mysterious light, trying to escape. For a 3rd-rank demon king like this, its spiritual intelligence was no less than that of a human. It knew it was no match for Lu Chongqing and should go back for help. However, how could Lu Chongqing let it escape? He shot forward abruptly, and with a great hand of magical power, he unleashed the one chi grand capture. Boom boom boom! The massive body of the centipede was seized in the yin-yang hand, and it exploded with a crash, black gas rolling out and dark blood splattering. Only when the enemy's vitality was nearly diminished did Lu Chongqing imprison it into a fist-sized sphere with the one chi grand capture and hold it in his palm. Yao Yao, it's all right now. After finishing, Lu Chongqing looked at his daughter with an expression as calm and gentle as the clouds, speaking softly. Daddy, you're so powerful. Nangong Yao Yao looked at Lu Chongqing in front of her, speaking excitedly and joyfully, her eyes like twinkling stars filled with admiration and reverence. If previously her admiration, reverence and affection toward Lu Chongqing, her convenient father, had a certain degree of pretense, at this moment, her gaze toward Lu Chongqing was completely sincere, filled with genuine admiration, looking up to him like a high mountain. The main thing was that it was truly astonishing. The renowned nascent soul immortal of her sect, Wind Centipede Ambassador, had no power to fight back in front of her father and was suppressed in an instant. Hee hee. Lu Chongqing, seeing his daughter like this, slightly curved his lips. Even after decades had passed, he still loved this feeling of being admired by his wives and children. Moreover, this daughter was different from his other children, making him feel very comfortable at heart, secretly thinking the visit of the Wind Centipede Ambassador was well-timed today. Yao Yao, why did this person make a move against you? Lu Chongqing placed his hand on his daughter's fragrant shoulder, using yin-yang magic power to remove some residual poison for her. This Wind Centipede Ambassador had extraordinary means, silently making the air poisonous. His physical body was naturally unafraid. But his daughter was slightly affected. Daddy, I don't know either. Nangong Yaoyao shook her head and said. She suspected something had happened within the sect, or something happened to her mother, which prompted the other party to suddenly target her. But she wasn't certain about this, so she didn't voice her suspicion. When your mother returns in a few days, let her take a look. Lu Chongqing didn't ask further, directly saying, Mother? Daddy, do you know where Mother is? Hearing this, Nangong Yaoyao immediately became concerned. After hearing about the Tianyuan secret realm incident, she had been worried about her mother's situation. Your mother was delayed by something, she might be back in a month or two. Of course, Lu Chongqing wouldn't say he was the reason why Nangong Meili hadn't returned. I planned to come with your mother, but she happened to have some matters at hand. I couldn't wait and came first. It's my fault I haven't been able to be by your side since childhood, so I wasn't sure how to recognize you. Lu Chongqing sighed, blaming himself. It's okay, Daddy, you're so powerful, you must have many things to do. Nangong Yaoyao showed great understanding and kindness. Under the guidance of her mother, Nangong Meili, she understood human nature. Knowing her father felt guilty towards her now, if she acted spoiled, it would gradually erode the father's affection. The more obedient and sensible she acted, the more her father would pamper her. Lu Chongqing patted her soft hair without speaking. This daughter seemed obedient and sensible, but he could see she was deliberately catering to him. It made him feel there was still a barrier between them as father and daughter. However, the two had just met, and their relationship had yet to be built, which was normal. Seeing the mortal cultivators all around fainting, Lu Chongqing placed his hand on his chest, and the 9 treasures Rui bone burst into radiance, emanating a surging mysterious aura. Buzz buzz buzz, tadpole-like symbols intertwined, then he cast a 3rd-rank rain talisman, causing the gentle rain and healing divine light to fall. The events today had started because of him and his daughter. If he did nothing, 99% of these people would never awaken, turning into piles of dry bones. So, facing such circumstances, Lu Chongqing was willing to lend a helping hand. Nangong Yaoyao beside him was a little surprised by her father's actions, rarely seeing this. In her view, these people were mere low-status loose cultivators and mortals. Their deaths would be inconsequential. Why go to such trouble and waste a 3rd-rank talisman to save them? 1 3rd-rank talisman could be enough to buy their lives. Being human means doing human things. They suffered this disaster because of us, so we should help if we can. Lu Chongqing glanced at his daughter, patted her head, and said, Understood, thank you, Daddy. The girl in the purple dress nodded her little head vigorously, showing a look of being enlightened. She gained a new understanding of her father. Being human means doing human things. This was entirely different from her mother's perspective. CTH novel_fire. @ website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. At this moment, she was even more curious about the matters between her father and mother. Let's go, well go back first. Without saying much more, Lu Chongqing took her back to the Immortal Spider Marketplace. See if their outing, he and Nangong Yaoyao, had affected Meng Xiaochan. When they returned, they found that the marketplace had encountered no issues. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1388. Afterward, Lu Chongqing explained the earlier situation to Meng Xiaochan. What? The Wind Centipede envoy came to attack Yao Yao. Upon hearing this, Meng Xiaochan exclaimed in shock. Days ago, Lu Chongqing told her he had broken through to core formation, which already surprised her immensely. Now Lu Chongsheng was saying that the wind centipede envoy came looking for trouble and was suppressed by him. This, Meng Xiaochan was utterly confounded, her expression dazed, feeling like she was hearing things. After all, she knew better than Nangong Yao Yao about the power of this wind centipede envoy. He had long since achieved core formation middle stage, and in earlier years, single-handedly destroyed a nascent soul family. His strength was exceptionally formidable. Yet now, he was easily suppressed by her lover. Doesn't this mean her master isn't a match for Lu Lang either? Nangong Yao Yao, watching Meng Xiaocan's surprise, was a bit baffled. Then with great excitement, she gestured animatedly while recounting the situation. That's right, Sister Xiaochan, you didn't see it at that time, father. Initially, Meng Xiaochan was worried about whether this incident would cause trouble for Lu Chongqing, but upon hearing her master would return in a month or two, she felt relieved. However, she still suggested that Lu Chongsheng and Nangong Yao Yao could go out for a while until her master returned. After all, it was fine if no one from the sect paid attention. If the sect suddenly had reasons to seek out the wind centipede envoy and realized something was wrong, it might cause trouble for Lu Chongsheng. Brilliant! Lu Chongsheng immediately praised Meng Xiaocan's astute suggestion. He had been thinking about how to use Nangong Mili's return as an excuse to take his daughter out for some bonding. Now the perfect reason presented itself. Yao Yao, what do you think? Lu Chongsheng looked at his daughter, seeking her opinion. Yao Yao listens to father. The girl blinked her eyes innocently and said obediently. All right. Lu Chongsheng smiled and then said to Meng Xiaochan, Xiaochan, I'll take Yao Yao out for a while and come back later. If you need anything, you can crush this talisman, and I'll sense it. Speaking, he reached into his storage ring to take out a sensing talisman. In the next moment, as if remembering something, he also took out a blank jade slip, left a divine sense message inside, and handed it to Meng Xiaochan. If your master returns and inquires, you can give this to her. Okay, Meng Xiaochan nodded, sensing something must have happened between her lover and master in Jiang country. At this moment, discussing master seemed perfectly natural for Lu Chongsheng. Come here, Yao Yao, this is the gift father prepared for our meeting. Lu Chongsheng recalled the present he had prepared for his daughter, taking out a jar from the spiritual pet bag. Oh, the previous gifts father gave Yao Yao were already much loved by Yao Yao. The purple-skirted girl smiled, her eyes like crystal stars gazing admiringly at Lu Chongsheng, filled with affection and joy. Those gifts were nothing. This one is specially prepared for you by father. Lu Chongsheng said with a laugh. Yao Yao thanks father. Nangong Yao Yao instantly delighted like a child given candy, her eyes brimming with anticipation. Regardless, this daughter truly excelled at offering emotional support. Ha, is this a goo insect? Nangong Yao Yao opened the jar to find a thumb-sized withered-looking pink silkworm. Indeed, this goo is called Heavenly Fragrance Goo. Lu Chongsheng smiled and said, Heavenly Fragrance Goo. Nangong Yao Yao's lips parted in surprise. She knew her spiritual body was the flawless heavenly fragrance body. Her father suddenly giving her a heavenly fragrance goo couldn't possibly have nothing to do with her spiritual body. She truly couldn't believe it. Moreover, she sensed a divine resonance from this goo insect. I heard from your mother that you possess the flawless heavenly fragrance body, and this goo insect, when initially cultivated, has effects somewhat similar to the flawless heavenly fragrance body, which can make one's body emit fragrance. When the goo insect reaches second transformation, the fragrance effect further enhances, making enemies reluctant to harm, reducing their hostility and killing intent by threefold. Upon reaching third transformation, even facing enemies will make them softer-hearted and merciful. If it ascends to fourth transformation, it may enhance fortune and chance, being favored by the heavens. Lu Chongsheng calmly yet warmly described the heavenly fragrance gust effects. Upon hearing the details, Nangong Yao Yao was utterly amazed. Even though she was merely a foundation establishment cultivator, she clearly understood the potency of this goo insect. CTH Nelfer. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Early effects might be quite ordinary. But after the fourth transformation, elevating fortune and opportunity was simply astonishing. When it came to aspects of heavenly fortune, it meant this goo insect was at least a top-level earth spirit goo, possibly even a heavenly spirit goo. Furthermore, the most crucial point was that this goo insect was the perfect match for her. The seemingly ordinary early effects, coupled with her abilities, would result in an effect of 1 + 1 = 3, even fourfold.
Father, is this really for me?
Her starlit eyes sparkled, gleaming with joy. Of course, do you like it? Lu Chongqing chuckled and asked.
Yes, Yao Yao loves it.
Thank you, father. Nangong Yao Yao nodded excitedly, giving Lu Chongqing a sweet kiss on the cheek to express her gratitude. Nearby, Meng Xiaochan observed the deep father-daughter bond, feeling a little sour in her heart. Lu Lang came to visit her and Yao Yao, preparing such a precious gift for Yao Yao, while she had received nothing. Yao Yao, you've been tired today. Go rest first. Tomorrow father will take you out to play, and help you refine this heavenly fragrance goo. Lu Chongqing, with his sharp senses, noticed Meng Xiaocan's emotions and gently instructed Nangong Yao Yao. Then he held Meng Xiaocan's slender jade-like hand, expressing that he had also prepared a gift for her. This elixir is called Evil X Banisher Elixir, capable of dispelling various goo poison, sealing, curses, prohibition divine skills, and other effects. Perhaps it can break your Lockhart goo. Lu Chongqing stated directly. This elixir medicine was won by him in a sweepstake years ago and had been collecting dust. Upon remembering Meng Xiaocan's situation, he decided to give her the elixir medicine to see if it could dissolve the Lockhart goo. On one hand, Lu ancestor no longer cared to use such methods to captivate a woman's heart. On the other hand, for Nangong Mili and his daughter Nangong Yao Yao. After all, the Lockhart goo issue had been a thorn in Nangong Mili's heart. Dissolving Meng Xiaocan's Lockhart goo could pull this thorn out. His daughter, upon uncovering that Sister Xiaochan had been caring for her under the effects of a Lockhart goo, would find it difficult to explain. Moreover, if he and Meng Xiaochan eventually had children, and the child discovered that their mother was still under the effects of a Lockhart goo, just the thought was headache-inducing. I don't want it, Lu Lang. Is it that you don't want Xiaochan anymore? However, upon hearing the elixir medicine's effects, Meng Xiaochan immediately appeared sorrowful, her beautiful eyes turning red.
Huh.
Lu Chongqing was taken aback, never expecting her to react this way. I'm just giving you the choice. He shook his head and said. No, Xiaochan feels this way is best. Meng Xiaochan implored, clinging tightly to him, shaking her head. At this moment, Lu Chongqing distinctly realized the domineering nature of the Lockhart goo. He didn't force her, planning to wait for Nangong Mili to return before giving it together. After all, that was his original intent. However, seeing Meng Xiaochan had been taking good care of his daughter for years, and noticing her somewhat lonely demeanor, he decided to offer the elixir medicine prematurely. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1389. The next day, Lu Chongqing planned to take his daughter Nangong Yao Yao out to play. Yao Yao, where do you want to go? Lu Chongqing looked at his daughter, whose eyes were filled with admiration and reliance, and asked with a smile. Yao Yao doesn't know either. Previously, mother never let Yao Yao go far away for training. Can daddy take Yao Yao to see the world? Today, Nangong Yao Yao was wearing a simple and elegant purple gauze dress. Her hair, like a waterfall of black silk, was styled into two playful big braids. The entire person radiated a fresh and elegant aura, with a sunny and bright appearance. Her star-like eyes sparkled, her nose was small and exquisite, and her mouth was always adorned with a cute and sweet smile. Going far training. Lu Chongqing heard this, touched his chin, then nodded and said, All right. As he spoke, he lifted his daughter and soared high into the sky, entering the 9th heavenly gang wind layer. Buzz! The yin-yang mysterious divine light surged, like a layer of silk wrapping around his daughter, gently flowing. Daddy, is this the 9th heavenly gang wind layer? Nangong Yao Yao seemed a bit frightened, clinging to her father's arm. Her tender lips slightly parted as she observed her surroundings, speaking with a face full of wonder. Hasn't your mother brought you here before? Lu Chongqing glanced at the girl's porcelain-like fair face and laughed. Mother said it was too dangerous. The girl's pink lips pouted slightly. Haha, your mother wasn't wrong. Lu Chongqing wouldn't speak ill of Nangong Mili. Nascent soul cultivators can travel through the 9th heavenly gang wind layer. But if bringing someone along and encountering enemies or dangers, it would be a distraction, indeed carrying significant risk. But with Dad here, it's not a big problem. While speaking, Lu Chongqing patted his spiritual pet bag, and instantly a golden light filled the air, accompanied by a terrifying aura. Screech. S.E. The novel, F. Ire. Et website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Golden all over, as if forged from gold, the golden-winged heavenly Peng appeared. If it were in the past, even though Lu Chongqing was a nascent soul cultivator, it would be somewhat troublesome to take his daughter far away. But now with the golden-winged heavenly Peng, going anywhere is much easier. Daddy! Nangong Yao Yao looked at the golden-winged heavenly Peng before her, instantly feeling a terrifying sense of danger, instinctively clinging tightly to Lu Changsheng's arm. Don't be afraid, this is Daddy's spiritual pet. Lu Chongqing patted her hand, signaling not to be afraid. Then he took Nangong Yao Yao onto the back of the golden-winged heavenly Peng. This is Daddy's spiritual pet? Nangong Yao Yao couldn't discern the strength of this golden-winged heavenly Peng, but just by its appearance and presence, she understood that its strength far exceeded the third-rank centipede of the wind centipede envoy. Looking at Lu Changsheng's refined and handsome appearance, she was incredibly surprised. She wondered what kind of background her father had. Not only did he easily suppress the wind centipede envoy, grant her such a rare heavenly fragrance goo, but he also had such a stunning spiritual pet. Although the father and daughter had been together for a month, this father before her was still shrouded in mystery. Let's go, Daddy will take you to explore the Myriad Beasts mountain range. Lu Chongqing spoke. Myriad Beasts mountain range is vast and boundless, with branches extending into Jin Kingdom. So he thought of taking his daughter there to expand her horizons and to see if there's any third-rank demon king to hunt. Whoosh! The golden-winged heavenly Peng spread its wings, suddenly shooting out, tearing through the endless gang wind. Wow wow! Nangong Yao Yao saw such speed, where the gang wind was ripped apart by the golden-winged heavenly Peng, and couldn't help but cry out loud. If it weren't for the yin-yang mysterious divine light protecting her, she felt that the gang wind and speed could tear her to pieces. Daddy, so fast! Her fair tender face flushed with a light pink hue, like a fine jade with powder, her starry eyes constantly looking around, excited like a little bird freed from its cage. Ha ha! Lu Chongqing watched his daughter gaze around, feeling amused. At this speed, she probably couldn't see anything clearly. With a flick of his finger, a mirror appeared before them, revealing a beautiful scenery below like a starry chessboard. Yao Yao, if you want to go anywhere, just say. Lu Chongqing addressed his daughter. Thank you, Daddy. Nangong Yao Yao's brows arched, her mouth curving into a charming smile, demonstrating innocence and playfulness. At this moment, she looked at Lu Changsheng's refined and handsome face and suddenly said, Daddy, this isn't your true appearance, is it? Look at my memory. Lu Chongqing patted his forehead, allowing a stream of chaos qi to flow across his face. The refined and handsome appearance of a middle-aged man instantly transformed into a 20-year-old, fair-skinned, handsome, deep-featured, and unearthly young man. Wow wow, Daddy, so handsome. The girl looked at her father's unmatched handsome, seemingly glowing face, immediately cupping her cheeks with sparkling eyes, like a little fangirl. Previously, she felt she didn't resemble her father. Though her appearance was more like her mother's, it couldn't be that she inherited none of her father's features, right? Now seeing her father's true appearance, she suddenly understood. Moreover, she also somewhat understood why her mother was attracted to her father. Haha. Seeing his daughter's exaggerated expression, Lu Chongqing felt amused. However, this appearance certainly pushed emotional value to the maximum. Smiling, he ruffled her head and said, Yao Yao is still the prettiest. These words weren't mere flattery. His daughter's looks were indeed flawless, perfectly inheriting the exquisite features of her mother, Nangong Mili, naturally beautiful. Yet compared to Nangong Mili, she wasn't so alluring or charming, her features fitting perfectly together, giving an indescribable beauty, fresh and elegant yet with a touch of innocence. Hee hee, it's good inheritance from mom and dad. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1390. Nangong Yao Yao's purple gauze dress was covered with a crystalline and translucent yin-yang mysterious light, faintly glowing, exceedingly beautiful and ethereal. Hey, this seems to be Heartless Ridge. At this moment, She spotted a mountain range below and spoke up. Do you want to take a look? Lu Chongqing was not really familiar with this place called Heartless Ridge. His understanding of the Jin Kingdom was limited to the conditions of a few major forces. No need, this is a spirit land governed by the Five Poisons cult. I've been here before with Sister Xiaochan. Nangong Yaoyao spoke up, then began to introduce the situation here to Lu Chongqing. In this way, the father and daughter laughed and chatted on the golden-winged heavenly pung. From the immortal spider marketplace to the branch of the myriad beasts mountain range was quite a distance. But with the golden-winged heavenly pung, they reached there in just 7 days. This speed made Nangong Yaoyao exclaim in surprise. Is this the myriad beasts mountain range? She looked at the endless mountains ahead, slightly raised her head, and said, Father, didn't you say there are many demon beasts in the myriad beasts mountain range? Why haven't I seen a single one? Lu Chongqing sometimes couldn't tell if his daughter was genuinely clueless or just pretending, and he laughed. Demon beasts are very sensitive to auras, with the aura of the golden pung permeating, of course no demon beasts dare to appear. Besides, this is just the outer region of the myriad beasts mountain range, so the number of demon beasts isn't large either. With the bloodline effect of the golden-winged heavenly pung, it reigned supreme in the myriad beasts mountain range. Previously, when Lu Chongqing entered the myriad beasts mountain range to slay demon kings and seize spirit veins, he had to spend some effort. But now with the golden pung, through bloodline suppression, it could make a third-rank demon king inexplicably weaken by 3 gates. Oh right. The young girl suddenly looked enlightened, then giggled adorably, her big eyes constantly looking at the mountain range ahead, filled with endless curiosity and exploration. Dad, could you catch me a mount? Sar the Novelier. NET website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Suddenly, she tugged at Lu Changsheng's sleeve, her eyes full of hopeful anticipation. No problem. Lu Chongqing smiled and snapped his fingers. The golden-winged heavenly pung immediately spread its wings in the air and shot towards the myriad beasts mountain range, tearing through the air. A third-rank demon king. How could a third-rank demon king appear here? From afar, the originally roaring and howling demon beasts were so frightened they shivered, unable to move. And some cultivators who were hunting demon beasts in the mountains had cold hands and feet, not daring to move, not knowing why a third-rank demon king appeared in the myriad beasts mountain range. It seems someone is on top of that demon king. Gasp. Could this be the spiritual pet and mount of a nascent soul immortal? To act so arrogantly in the myriad beasts mountain range, it's definitely not an ordinary nascent soul immortal. A Foundation establishment demon hunting team looked in awe, envy, respect, and admiration at the distant golden-winged heavenly pung. If I could become a nascent soul immortal in this life, it would be amazing. Someone sighed in admiration and longing. A nascent soul immortal, you sure have big dreams? Even forming a false core would be enough to make my ancestors smile in heaven. Sigh, my wish is much simpler, just to earn enough spirit stones to settle down in Mingsha City. Mingsha City, really aiming high, a house there costs over 100,000 spirit stones. This group of Foundation establishment cultivators chatted inside for a bit, then continued to cautiously advance. My father is really something. Although Nangong Yaoyao had not been to the myriad beasts mountain range before, she had quite a bit of understanding about it. Seeing her father travel so blatantly, she was filled with emotion. During this time, her beautiful eyes scanned the surroundings to see if there were any decent demon beasts suitable as mounts. Actually, she didn't have much thought about mounts. If she truly wanted one, her mother Nangong Mealy would have already prepared it for her. She simply thought that since they came to the myriad beasts mountain range, they should find something to do. Moreover, by frequently asking her father for help, she could give him a sense of being needed, thereby nurturing the father-daughter bond. Golden Pung, restrain your aura a bit. At this moment, Lu Chongqing spoke to the golden-winged heavenly pung. If it continued emitting such spiritual pressure, apart from the third-rank demon kings, no demon beasts would dare to appear. And if he wanted to train his daughter by catching demon beasts, he naturally could only look for second-rank demon beasts. Even if he suppressed a third-rank demon king, his daughter could not possibly tame it. Even capturing second-rank demon beasts would prove challenging. Screech! The golden-winged heavenly pung let out a prolonged cry, and its dazzling body dimmed significantly, its pervasive demon chi dropping from 3rd rank to 2nd rank. As a 3rd-rank demon king, disguising its aura was naturally not a problem. However, under such a disguise, its strength and speed would definitely be affected. With the golden-winged heavenly Peng's aura restrained, occasionally some fierce bird demon beasts would appear, roaring and howling at Lu Chongqing, thinking he was invading their territory. The bloodline grade of these demon beasts was not bad, so Lu Chongqing began capturing and hunting demon beasts with his daughter. Occasionally, when encountering some suitable demon beasts, he would let his daughter try her hand, testing her abilities. The methods of the 5 poisons cult are completely not suited for direct combat. Lu Chongqing thought to himself as he watched his daughter engage a bear demon. Nangong Yao Yao's methods mainly relied on goo poison as the main tactic, with charm as a supplement. Facing such demon beasts, she was even somewhat restrained. It was far from the simple, direct, and efficient methods of sword cultivators or talisman cultivators. However, as she possessed the flawless heavenly fragrance body, she couldn't cultivate other techniques, so he just prepared more means for her.
Ah, father, help!
Nangong Yao Yao cried out for help when she saw the bear demon unaffected by poison and continuing to approach her. Splat! With a flick, Lu Chongqing instantly killed the bear demon.
Wow, father is amazing!
The young girl immediately looked at Lu Chongqing with adoration, her eyes sparkling like stars. This is a bit exaggerated. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1391. Lu Chongqing smiled and flicked her smooth forehead lightly.
No way, it comes from the heart.
Hee hee. Just like that, Lu Chongqing took his daughter through the myriad beasts mountain range, hunting demon beasts and searching for heavenly and earthly treasures as if they were on a sightseeing trip.
Wow, Daddy, you're amazing.
Woo-woo, this roast meat is so delicious. How did you make it, Daddy?
Daddy, there's another vein of minerals.
During these days, Lu Changsheng's skills in spiritual slaughtering, spiritual cooking, and dragon-seeking technique were all showcased, making Nangong Yao Yao exclaim in awe throughout, sparkling with delight. Although her daughter's expressions bore some falseness. But one must admit, having her around indeed made it a lot more joyful, and it no longer felt boring. This day, outside the immortal spider marketplace, a woman around 30 years old, with a breathtakingly beautiful and alluring appearance and stunning curves, dressed in a purple silk dress, descended from the sky looking hurried and somewhat travel-worn. Greetings to the heavenly spider envoy.
Greetings to the Lord.
The cultivators stationed at the market quickly bowed respectfully upon seeing this exquisitely beautiful woman.
However, Nangong merely didn't spare them a glance and transformed into a stream of rainbow light to swiftly enter the market after opening its formation.
Normally, flying is prohibited in such marketplaces. But the rules naturally did not apply to Nangong Meili. After arriving at Immortal Spider Peak, she held the sensing talisman, which remained silent, and a sudden ominous feeling surged in her heart.
Master, you've returned?
A moment later, Meng Xiaochan hurried over, shouting with joy upon seeing Nangong Meili. Even though she had been comforting Nangong Yao Yao before, she was somewhat worried about her master's situation.
Xiaochan, where's Yao Yao?
Nangong Meili immediately asked.
During her return, she had a sudden ominous premonition.
So after crossing the border, she rushed back at full speed. But now seeing that her daughter Nangong Yao Yao was not in the market, the ominous feeling in her heart grew even stronger, her whole being tense with anxiety. Meng Xiaochan paused upon seeing her master in such a travel-worn state. After so many years together, she knew her master cared deeply about her appearance. Even in the face of life and death crises, with disguise and camouflage, she would maintain her looks and attire. Yet now, her master rushed back so hastily and showed anxiety as soon as she returned. Clearly something was amiss. She hesitantly said, "Master Yao Yao is fine, she went out with Lu Chongqing for some fun days ago."
What?
Nangong Meili's stunningly beautiful face changed at these words. She had previously wondered if the ominous feeling came from Lu Chongqing. Unexpectedly, it turned out to be true. Lu Chongqing had already arrived at the Immortal Spider Marketplace and had taken her daughter away. When did that bastard get here? Why would Yao Yao go out with him? Nangong Meili said immediately, her hands clenched tightly, with a vague nascent soul-level magic aura spreading. Lu Lang arrived here almost 2 months ago. Meng Xiaochan said. How is that possible?
Nan Gong merely exclaimed upon hearing this. She separated from him at the border. Even if his speed was slightly faster, he shouldn't have arrived so soon, right? Unless he made no stops at all at the border and rushed all the way. But there was a piece of spiritless land on the way, which would delay time considerably. All right, master. Lu Lang said to give you this jade slip when you return.
Meng Xiaochan, seeing her master in this state, knew something must have happened between them and Lu Lang.
It's possible that her master rushed back in such a hurried and weary state, worrying that Lu Lang might lay a hand on Yao Yao.
Could it be that master got thwarted by Lu Lang again? Meng Xiaochan thought of her master going to Jiang country, probably to trouble Lu Chongsheng.
Given that the wind centipede envoy had been subdued by Lu Lang, if her master had gone to cause trouble, it would be like an egg hitting a stone.
Nan Gong merely took the jade slip, and with a divine sense check. Mealy, your husband has gone out to have some fun with Yao Yao, don't worry. The jade slip contained only a simple message from Lu Chongsheng. A gentle voice, but in Nan Gong Mealy's ear, it sounded smug, as if teasing. Lu Chongsheng. Nan Gong Mealy gritted her teeth, and the jade slip in her hand shattered into powder with a puff sound. Master, don't worry, Lu Lang has no ill will towards Yao Yao, about the wind centipede envoy before. Meng Xiaochan quickly spoke up, recounting the incident where the wind centipede envoy had attempted to harm Nan Gong Yao Yao. What? The old ghost Tan dared to lay a hand on Yao Yao. Nan Gong Mealy was taken aback by this, somewhat terrified. Knowing that Lu Chongsheng had subdued the wind centipede envoy to avoid trouble, he took her daughter out to play and also to dodge the disaster. Her worry slightly eased. But thinking about Lu Chongsheng being with her daughter, her heart was still uneasy. Xiaochan, what has Lu Chongsheng been doing in the marketplace these days? She still looked worried as she asked Meng Xiaochan. Search * the novel fire, any *t website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1392. Myriad Beasts Mountain Range. On a cliff, Lu Chongsheng was sitting with his daughter Nan Gong Yao Yao on a dark golden tiger skin rug. In front of them was a large cauldron, filled with dazzling light and flowing with purple mist, emitting a fragrant aroma. This was the meat of a third-rank demon beast, the purple flame Kuei ox, each piece of meat glistening with precious light. In addition, the pot was full of spiritual medicines and heavenly and earthly treasures. This was no longer just a spirit meal. It was entirely refining a cauldron of peerless treasure medicine. The fragrance of the medicine wafted through the air, and just one whiff brought a person to clarity and filled them with essence energy. This was something Lu Chongsheng developed himself through spirit chef skills, alchemy skills, and the medicinal bath technique taught by Hong Lian in her early years. Simply put, it was about simmering various heavenly and earthly treasures and demon beast essences into a medicinal dish, then adjusting the taste through culinary skills. However, if other third-rank spirit chefs or spirit meal masters saw such behavior, they would definitely curse it as a waste of heavenly resources. After all, the blood and flesh of a third-rank demon beast was precious, and yet Lu Chongsheng was braising it in one pot like this. All right, it's ready to eat. Lu Chongsheng lightly flicked his fingers, slightly withdrawing the Thunder Gang dragon flame under the furnace and smiled at his daughter. Whoa! Nan Gong Yao Yao was already impatient, holding her jade bowl, picking up a piece of beef and putting it in her mouth without caring about her ladle-like image. At first, she was reserved and very elegant. But after spending time with her father, Lu Chongsheng, who she knew to be unconstrained by trivial matters, living in the wild meant there was no need to concern herself with so many formalities. Daddy, it's so delicious. Nan Gong Yao Yao looked at her handsome father, her bright eyes filled with delight. This wasn't an exaggeration. Third-rank demon beast meat is considered an upper-class ingredient. And each time, Lu Chongsheng selected the finest parts, with excellent texture, incredibly translucent, and containing abundant essence energy. As soon as she swallowed, a surging medicinal force flowed through her body. These days, living with her father every day, feasting and reveling, she felt her cultivation foundation had become much more stable, and she could break through to the 5th layer of foundation establishment whenever she wanted. Eat as much as you like if you enjoy it. Lu Chongqing said with a smile as he served himself a bowl of soup to savor. Such medicinal dishes were in no way inferior to second-rank elixirs and could even be compared to some third-rank elixirs. Long-term consumption not only enhances cultivation, but also has effects like marrow cleansing and condensing one's physical foundation. However, at least a foundation establishment cultivation is needed to consume such medicinal meals. Ordinary people or energy-refining cultivators, even if they ate a little, might experience the issue of not being able to absorb the nutrients and having difficulty in digestion. Ma'am. Nangong Yao Yao ate with oil on her mouth, her face flushed, and her body radiated with crystalline dawn light as if bathed in a layer of divine glow. After eating enough, Nangong Yao Yao's blemish-free body suddenly burst with a dazzling aura, enveloping a mesmerizing fragrance, giving a flawless and pure vibe. Lu Chongqing noticed that his daughter's cultivation realm was beginning to break through on its own. With all the eating and drinking of these days, she had already accumulated abundant medicinal power, and it wasn't unusual for her to naturally break through her realm now. Daddy! Nangong Yao Yao called out to Lu Chongqing, setting down her bowl and chopsticks, and directly sat cross-legged to break through. She had long been able to break through, but had always been suppressing her cultivation realm. Since she was now reaching her limit, there was no need to continue suppressing. Focus on your breakthrough. Lu Chongqing softly said, instructing the golden-winged heavenly Peng to hover above, so as to prevent anyone or any demon beast from disturbing. Boom! No one knew how much time passed before a surging mana flooded Nangong Yao Yao's Qi Ocean core, pushing her cultivation from the 4th layer of foundation establishment to the 5th layer. CTH Novelfire, any *T website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Yao Yao, congratulations on advancing another step in your cultivation. Lu Chongqing looked at his daughter and smiled. It's all thanks to Daddy's feeding. The girl's tender face glowed with a slight blush, her eyes sparkling with a playful smile as she spoke. Ha ha! Lu Chongqing chuckled, knowing his daughter was already near the peak of the 4th layer, and he merely facilitated this step. Daddy, it seems like Mother has returned. At this moment, a jade token appeared in Nangong Yao Yao's hand, and she spoke to Lu Chongqing. Apart from the normal sensing talisman, she and her mother also had a sensing jade token to confirm each other's status. Now that the jade token was sending a signal, it indicated that her mother should have returned or was reassuring her of safety. Oh! Lu Chongqing raised an eyebrow, thinking to himself that Nangong Meili had returned sooner than he had expected. It's all right, I left a message for your mother, so there's no need to worry. If you want to go back sooner, we can also start the journey home now. Lu Chongqing could imagine Nangong Meili's anxious expression at this moment. Although he wanted to tease her a bit, he didn't intend to delay his return or take his daughter directly back to Jiang country. On one hand, when mother and daughter meet, the daughter would inevitably realize that his relationship with her mother isn't as great as she thought. So there was no need to do anything that might affect his image in his daughter's mind. On the other hand, Nangong Meili and the daughter share a deeper bond, and it would be impossible for her daughter to forsake her mother to go back with him. Also, through their time together, Lu Chongqing realized this daughter, though seemingly innocent and cute, was actually very perceptive and had her own ideas. If he were to reveal his situation, unless Nangong Meili was willing to go to Bai Lake Mountain, she would likely not be willing to go to Bai Lake Mountain. But Nangong Meili would never agree to go to Bai Lake Mountain. Moreover, her personality wouldn't fit with Bai Lake Mountain. It would be like a fish out of water. If Nangong Meili ever decided to come to Bai Lake Mountain, even Lu Chongqing would feel uneasy, fearing she might cause trouble for his family. However, seeing that everything was fine with his daughter over here, Lu Chongqing wasn't as eager to take her back, feeling it best to go with the flow. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1393. Anyway, now that I have the golden-winged heavenly Peng, I can come and see them. Don't worry, Yao Yao. I'll arrange it accordingly. The young girl, unaware of her mother's anxiety, spoke obediently and adorably. Since that's the case, let's wander back, or see if there's anywhere else you'd like to go. Lu Chongqing said with a smile. At this very moment, Nangong Meili learned about her daughter's matters with Lu Chongqing from Meng Xiaochan, feeling extremely furious. She thought to herself that this lousy man indeed had a belly full of tricks, and she had mistakenly thought he had changed.
This lousy man's words contain not a single truth.
CTH novel. F. Ire. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality.
Nan Gong mealy clenched her teeth and cursed. Next to her, Meng Xiaochan, seeing her master's angry demeanor, couldn't help but detect a hint of a couple's quarrel in the conversation for some reason. Xiaochan, when Yao Yao returns, notify me immediately, I have to return to the sect.
Nan Gong mealy, seeing that her daughter was not there, did not linger and planned to return to the Five Poisons cult to handle the matters concerning the envoy of the Wind Wasp. Moreover, since this trip was part of her mission, she needed to report back immediately upon her return.
Yes, master.
Meng Xiaochan responded earnestly. Nan Gong mealy returned to the Five Poisons cult and proceeded to the Five Saints Hall to pay respects. After a long time, the hall doors thunderously opened.
Greetings, sect hierarch.
Nan Gong mealy gracefully entered the grand hall, and upon seeing a little girl on the dais wearing a silver crown hairpin and a luxurious purple-red robe, barefoot and appearing 7 or 8 years old, she bowed. Heavenly Spider Envoy. You have returned. Regarding the matters in Jiang country, I am aware of the Tianyuan secret realm. Did you gain anything within? Despite the girl's tender and crisp voice, it carried a weight of authority beyond her apparent age. Reporting to sect hierarch, Nan Gong mealy immediately began to recount what she had seen in the Tianyuan secret realm. As for how she escaped the Tianyuan secret realm, she did not elaborate. After all, explaining nothing would lead the Five Poisons cult leader to assume she used her trump card and life-saving means to escape. However, leaving things vague or fabricating lies would make it challenging to deceive a nascent soul true lord. This matter will be recorded as a merit for you. The Five Poisons cult leader's face was smooth and delicate, and her tender voice was mixed with the authority of a superior. Even though Nan Gong mealy achieved no gains, the unexpected outcome of the Tianyuan secret realm meant she was still credited. Your return is timely. Recently I have had discussions with the Immortal Lotus sect. The girl looked at Nan Gong mealy and revealed a secret. Immortal Lotus sect? Nan Gong mealy's beautifully enchanting face froze with surprise upon hearing this. She had, of course, heard of the renowned Immortal Lotus sect, one of the top powers in the southern wilderness. Although the Five Poisons cult was considered powerful in Jin Kingdom, with a nascent soul true lord residing there, it paled when compared to top powers like the Immortal Lotus sect in the southern wilderness. Sect hierarch, has someone from the Immortal Lotus sect come for something? Nan Gong mealy inquired softly. Though the Five Poisons cult is a force of the demon path, compared to these top-ranked demonic forces, it was rather insignificant and had little contact on ordinary days. Now that the Immortal Lotus sect suddenly sent someone to the Five Poisons cult, it was clear something was afoot. This is not your concern. The Immortal Lotus sect came to select a few promising seedlings, to foster relations between our sects. The Five Poisons cult leader looked at Nan Gong mealy and spoke. Yes, sect hierarch. Nan Gong mealy asked no more and replied respectfully. Previously, Elder Tan's attack on Yao Yao, could it be because of this? As she walked out of the Five Saints Hall, Nan Gong mealy's phoenix eyes narrowed, gleaming coldly as she muttered to herself. But thinking about the arrival of the Immortal Lotus sect, preparing to pick a few seedlings from the Five Poisons cult, her teeth gently bit into her lush red lips, her face changing erratically. Lu Chuanjun, wearing a black cloak, was riding a flying shuttle, with a Kuanping vaguely visible beneath his feet, speeding madly through the sky in a rainbow arc. However, he hadn't gone far when he felt a chilling cold sweeping over him as if cold, eerie eyes were watching him. Looking up, he saw a white bone throne appear unexpectedly ahead. A thin old man with crimson eyes, a terrifying visage, and a dark aura sat upon it. Ghost Demon True Master. Seeing the old man, Lu Chuanjun was filled with horror, his muscles tensed. Hey, young one, I didn't expect you to recognize this seat. The black-robed elder's crimson eyes watched Lu Chuanjun, leaning forward, his smile sinister as he spoke. As he spoke, Lu Chuanjun felt shrouded by a chilling, sinister aura. From every direction, invisible ghostly hands appeared, gripping his limbs and throat, making him immobile and unable to breathe. Run, keep running. Weren't you good at escaping? Why aren't you running now? The ghost demon True Master, seated on the white bone throne, spoke with an icy voice that seemed to come from the netherworld hell, freezing one's soul. Lu Chuanjun instantly turned pale, his mana in disarray, his muscles uncontrollably trembling as if cramping. This was the gap between foundation establishment and core formation. Even if he cultivated the yin-yang 5 elements Kuanping technique and had numerous trump cards, even killing a foundation establishment peak, before a core formation true man, absolute power left him powerless. Young one, rest assured, this seat will not kill you so easily. I will make you wish for death, let you experience the pain of a myriad ghosts devouring the heart, and then refine you into my myriad soul banner, as a tribute to my son's spirit. The ghost demon true master's voice was cold as ice, his crimson eyes emitting chilling beams that caused Lu Quanzhen's body pain, and he groaned, coughing up blood. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1394. The gap is too great. The gap between foundation establishment and nascent soul is too vast. Even though he still had cards up his sleeve, he couldn't use them at this moment.
Li old ghost, you turtle finally got caught by me.
At this moment, a burly giant man, standing over 10 feet tall, appeared, looking at the ghost demon true master. His voice was resonant, thundering like a storm, and he shouted loudly. Heaven-shaking old ghost, how come you're here? The ghost demon true master's crimson ghostly eyes contracted when he saw this giant man. As a demon path true man, he naturally had many enemies. The giant man before him was one of his enemies, and a particularly feared one. He held a pitch-black gourd wrapped in sinister patterns in his hand, aimed at Lu Chuanjin, and unplugged the stopper. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Suddenly, a great wind blew, as if a ghostly figure emerged from the gourd, directly pulling Lu Chuanjin into it. Facing this gourd technique, Lu Chuanjin was completely powerless to resist. Caught by me today, let's see where you can run. CTH Novelfire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. The giant man looked at the ghost demon true master, letting out a wild roar, his voice like the roar of 10,000 beasts, shaking the heavens and the earth, causing the air to continuously explode. The giant physique, towering over 10 feet tall, grew even more robust, like a savage dragon, charging at the ghost demon true master. Swoosh! The ghost demon true master was well aware of the giant man's strength. Not only did he possess core formation middle stage strength, but he also had third-rank late-stage body refinement, making him absurdly difficult to deal with. He immediately used the white bone throne to flee. But the giant man who had spent so much effort, even deliberately used Lu Chuanjin to lure the ghost demon true master, would not let him escape so easily. Boom boom boom. After exchanging several rounds, the ghost demon true master looked at the giant man, who was as large as a hill and covered in demon runes, and coldly said, Heaven-shaking old ghost, do you really think you can take this true man so easily? That's right, unless I beat the crap out of you old ghost today, count yourself lucky if you're clean. The giant man's every move carried terrifying force. The ghost demon true master, who had easily suppressed Lu Quanzhen's technique and divine ability earlier, found them completely ineffective in the face of the giant man, and could only keep fleeing. Meanwhile, inside the ghost demon true master's pitch-black gourd, Lu Chuanjin, being sucked into the gourd, instantly felt his body freezing, as if plunged into an ice cave, and smelled an intense stench of blood and rot, making him instinctively uncomfortable. He looked at the situation around him, surrounded by darkness, with demonic qi, ghost energy, and blood fiend energy churning and rolling. Beneath his feet was a pool of blood, seemingly eroding his vitality and essence blood. Bang! Lu Chuanjin made a gesture incantation with both hands. A small 5-colored fish appeared in his palm, swiftly shooting out, colliding with the dark wall, but causing no harm. This seems to be a magical treasure. To break out now would be as difficult as ascending to the heavens. Lu Quanzhen's expression was somewhat grim, knowing that with his current strength, breaking through this gourd was impossible. The only hope was for the other nascent soul true man to slay the ghost demon true master. But this person does not seem like a righteous cultivator. Even if he kills the ghost demon true master, he'd unlikely release me out of goodwill. Lu Chuanjin knew he couldn't pin his hopes on others and continued to assess the situation. This pool of blood and the blood fiend energy will continuously erode my physical body, depleting my mana and essence blood. At this rate, in just 10 days to half a month, it'll be turned into blood pulp. After a moment, Lu Chuanjin realized that this gourd was no simple object. He only had a few days left. If he couldn't escape the gourd, it would be a dead end. But considering the situation, even if he escaped the gourd, with 2 nascent soul cultivators outside, it would be difficult for him to escape. Rather than sitting here waiting for death, I might as well take a gamble. He looked at the blood pool and blood fiend energy, his slanted eyes glinting with fierceness, making a decision. Previously in the Black Mist Swamp, he resolved the issue of toxic miasma erosion through the Kuanping devouring heaven demonic technique taught by his uncle, narrowly avoiding danger. Now facing this predicament, he thought of this cultivation technique again. He planned to directly cultivate this demonic technique, using the blood pool and blood fiend energy here for cultivation. If his cultivation level broke through to foundation establishment late stage, with his trump cards, he might be able to grasp a slim chance of survival. No sooner said than done. Lu Chuanjin didn't hesitate. He was already thoroughly familiar with the Kuanping devouring heaven demonic technique, and after comprehending it deeply, he sat cross-legged in the blood pool, starting to operate this demonic technique. Buzz! As Lu Chuanjin ran his cultivation, tadpole-like pitch-black runes slowly surfaced on his body, and his 84,000 pores became like black holes, emitting a menacing and mysterious aura. Crimson fish appeared around him, howling and roaring, merging into a formidable and terrifying Kuanping phantom. Roar! The Kuanping let out a roar, opening its abyss-like mouth. Instantly, surging demonic qi, ghost energy, and blood fiend energy rushed into Lu Quanzhen's body. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1395. Hiss! As soon as the qi mechanism entered his body, Lu Quanzhen's face showed a look of pain. Blood spots seeped from his pores on the flesh covered in mysterious runes. This demonic qi, ghost energy, and blood fiend energy were violently chaotic, bone-chillingly cold, and fiercely vicious, entirely incomparable to the poison miasma of the Black Mist Swamp he encountered before. In an instant upon entering the body, they frantically eroded and destroyed his meridians and flesh, as though being cut by knives and saws, causing him excruciating pain. Kuanping devouring heaven! Lu Quanzhen's face was distorted with fierce contortions, and behind him, the Kuanping demon shadow roared and howled, emanating a dark blood glow, resembling a black hole, devouring the rolling demonic qi, ghost energy, and blood fiend energy, refining them into the energy required for the Kuanping demon technique. Boom boom boom, a series of resonant booms echoed within Lu Quanzhen's body, and intertwining blood-colored patterns spread across his skin, emitting a terrifying blood light, intertwining with the mysterious runes, looking eerily dazzling. He gritted his teeth tightly and began to operate the Yin-Yang 5 Elements Kuanping technique. This cultivation technique is divided into 2 volumes, and they must be cultivated together for maximum power. Moreover, if one doesn't practice the Yin-Yang 5 Elements Kuanping technique and only practices the Kuanping devouring heaven demonic technique, it is extremely easy to go into deviation, affecting the mind and even suffering heavenly retribution. Buzz buzz buzz, as the 2 cultivation techniques operated simultaneously, small 5-colored fish swam out from his qi ocean core, flowing around his body, balancing with the Kuanping demon shadow that emanated a dark blood glow. However, during this process, Lu Chuanjin realized something was amiss. At this moment, the preliminary fusion of the 2 cultivation techniques was affecting the efficiency of the Kuanping devouring heaven demonic technique, preventing it from reaching maximum effectiveness. There is simply no time for me to merge the 2 cultivation techniques into one. Moreover, the presence of demonic qi, ghost energy, and blood fiend energy here makes it difficult to maintain balance. Lu Quanzhen's body was covered in bizarre patterns, glowing with a dark blood light. Practicing the Kuanping devouring heaven demonic technique was already extremely dangerous, necessitating finding a quiet place for closed-door cultivation. But now, he was facing a life-and-death crisis, leaving him with no choice. There's no time to hesitate. If I can't escape before the ghost demon true master becomes alert, I will only meet a dead end. He did not hesitate and immediately abandoned the Yin-Yang 5 Elements Kuanping technique to fully operate the Kuanping devouring heaven demonic technique. Roar roar roar, the Kuanping demon shadow opened its abyssal maw, letting out a roar, as countless demonic qi, ghost energy, and blood fiend energy flowed into the Kunpeng's black hole-like giant mouth, seemingly forging a black hole, making the dark blood light increasingly thick. Ugh! Lu Quanzhen's face was grimacing in pain, cold sweat streaming down, while his body, covered in bizarre patterns, seeped blood, making him look terrifying. Though this process was excruciating, he could clearly feel his cultivation rapidly increasing, about to break through to the Foundation Establishment's 6th layer. Although this increase might lead to an unstable realm and shaky foundation, he deeply realized the terror of this cultivation technique. As long as one unleashed it with all their might, progress would be rapid beyond belief. No wonder Uncle warned me not to cultivate this technique before breaking through to core formation. Once this cultivation technique is practiced, it's equivalent to embarking on a path of no return. Previously Lu Chuanjun believed he could maintain his integrity and not be lost by power. But now, cultivation is cultivating the mind. Only power is eternal. Undefeated power naturally nurtures an invincible mind. What I need now is the quickest power boost. Only then can I grasp a slim chance of survival. Lu Quanzhen's cold eyes glowed with a dark bloodlight, his expression firm. At this moment, concepts like foundation, side effects, and losing oneself were all thrown out of his mind. Because only by living can one consider other matters. A 9th heavenly gang wind layer. A golden rainbow light ripped through the endless gang wind. Aware that Nangong Meili had returned, Lu Chongqing did not linger long with his daughter Nangong Yaoyao outside. After taking a few days to travel back, seeing his daughter's eagerness to return, he sped up to hurry back to Immortal Spider Marketplace. Buzz! At this moment, a rush of mana suddenly surged out of nowhere, causing Lu Chongqing to pause slightly. Who else has made a breakthrough? Lu Chongqing could sense that someone seemed to have broken through to the Foundation Establishment middle stage. But he remembered that none of the Foundation Establishment children should have been suitable for this stage. He silently pondered, opened the system, and took a quick glance. Name, Lu Chuanjun. Lifespan, 60 of 169. Talent, 4th grade spiritual root. Cultivation level, Foundation Establishment 6th layer. Talent, combat law compatibility, 69%. Chuanjun has reached the Foundation Establishment 6th layer? Lu Chongqing was somewhat surprised. He remembered that 2 years ago, his son Lu Chuanjun had just broken through the 5th layer of Foundation Establishment. To have progressed from the 5th to the 6th layer in just 2 years. This speed was indeed quite astonishing. However, he also noticed one thing. His son's lifespan had shortened considerably since before. As a Foundation Establishment cultivator, having only 169 years of life was undoubtedly a short lifespan. What has Chuanjun been doing these years? Lu Chongqing furrowed his brow. While it's true that many cultivators in the cultivation world use the life-burning secret technique in dangerous situations, search * the Novelier. NET website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. It shouldn't be used frequently. Overuse would not only shorten life, but also affect the Foundation, leading to difficult-to-solve aftereffects. Considering that his son was likely still in Jin Kingdom, he was considering letting Meng Xiaochan investigate later to find Lu Chuanjun. Otherwise, he really felt uneasy about his son's situation. Dad, what's wrong? Is something happening? Beside him, Nangong Yaoyao, adept at reading people's expressions, noticed her father frowning and immediately asked with a concerned and innocent face. Haha, nothing's wrong. Lu Chongqing smiled and said. By Lake Mountain. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1396. Why is it so lively outside? At Bai Yun Peak, in a courtyard, Yu Fei, with a swollen belly, heard the commotion outside and was somewhat curiously surprised. A moment later, she knew it was because Lu Ancestor's son, Lu Xingchen, was happily marrying a woman. Sister Yu Fei, there is a joyous event in the family today. Would you like to take a look? At this time, Lu Miaoyun and Lu Chongqing came over, looking at Yu Fei who was holding her belly. Thank you, Sister Lu. My body isn't feeling well. I want join in the excitement. Yu Fei gently caressed her 9-month pregnant belly, shaking her head. Even though she was much older than Lu Miaoyun. But since she married Lu Chongqing as a concubine, she naturally called Lu Miaoyun sister. Feier, take a good rest. I will come to accompany you later. At this moment, Lu Chongqing nodded with a smile, softly saying, then he left with Lu Miaoyun to Bai Yun Villa. At this time, Baiyun Villa was lit up and festive. Xingchen, congratulations! 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 Brother, happy wedding! Lu Xingchen was exceptionally talented, easygoing, and he was also a doctor and an alchemist, so he had very good relationships with others. Of course, Lu Xingchen was the first among the Lu family disciples to establish his family early after breaking through foundation establishment, so the Lu family paid much attention to this marriage. Greetings, father, auntie. Greetings to the mountain master. Greetings to the lady. Greetings to Lu ancestor, Lu madam. Seeing Lu Chongqing and Lu Miaoyun arriving, all the Lu family disciples and guests immediately saluted respectfully. No need for formalities. Though Lu Miaoyun looked youthful like a girl of 16 or 17, she was graceful and composed with an air of dignity. With their arrival, the wedding ceremony began in an orderly fashion. Although it was not a grand affair with many guests invited, owing to the Lu family's reputation, surrounding family forces would come uninvited at the news. Not only to foster good relations with Bai Lake Mountain, even meeting Lu Xingchen, the Lu family's alchemist, was worthwhile. First bow to heaven and earth. Second bow to the parents. Husband and wife bow to each other. Send to the bridal chamber. The atmosphere at Bai Lake Mountain is really extraordinary. Now with the elder Lu Chongqing in his prime, and Lu Pingon, such a body-refining talent and nascent soul seed present, there might indeed be hope for becoming a core formation noble family in the future. After Wang Yanjing and Lu Xingchen bowed to heaven and earth and were sent to the bridal chamber, she felt a little emotional. Then thinking about her family's current situation, she sighed deeply. Sister Jing. After a long time, Lu Xingchen, having finished offering the wine, came to the bridal chamber and saw Wang Yanjing, draped in a phoenix crown and rosy clouds robe, sitting upright, and called out happily. In their early years, they called each other Taoist friends. But as they became more familiar, Lu Xingchen discovered that Wang Yanjing knew a lot and was aware of many things. So during their interactions, he often consulted her and gradually began to call her Sister Jing. We are now husband and wife. Wang Yanjing spoke up upon hearing this. It's time to drink the nuptial wine. Upon hearing this, Lu Xingchen immediately realized, called the maid to lift the head cover with the jade balance beam, and then drank the nuptial wine with her. Wang Yanjing looked at the gentle and refined young man in front of her, slightly dazed, not expecting that she would choose to marry someday. She had met many men in her early years who were even more outstanding than Lu Xingchen. Yet at that time, she was solely focused on cultivation, with no thoughts of romance. This serious injury, her cultivation realm fell, living a simple life she never had early on, completely changed her mindset and thoughts. This must be the right person at the right time. Sir the Nelfer. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. With a smile in her eyes, Wang Yanjing thought this way. Sister Jing. After drinking the nuptial wine, looking at Wang Yanjing, Lu Xingchen laughed, showing his teeth. He also didn't expect that after saving her back then, they would become husband and wife. Call me wife. Seeing his silly demeanor, Wang Yanjing said with a hint of annoyance. Oh. Lu Xingchen hurriedly smiled and called out. Wife. Husband. Wang Yanjing smiled gently, softly called him, her brows showing a bit of shy beauty, captivating beyond belief. As Lu Chongqing and Nangong Yaoyao returned to the immortal spider marketplace, a purple silhouette shot towards them, embracing Nangong Yaoyao, full of longing and worry, and said, Yaoyao, are you all right? Nangong mealy, what do you mean by this? Lu Chongqing, seeing this scene, was instantly displeased. He had brought his daughter back at the first instance, yet she seemed so tense and defensive, as if Lu ancestor would harm his own daughter. Humph! Nangong merely instinctively wanted to greet Lu Chongqing warmly. But thinking of her daughter beside her, she swallowed her words and snorted coldly. Mother, am all right? Daddy took me to the Myriad Beasts mountain range and even caught 2 spiritual pets for me. Nangong Yaoyao quickly realized that there seemed to be an issue between her parents, pretended not to know, and cheerfully said with an adorable laugh. Myriad Beasts mountain range? Nangong Mealy was surprised to hear this. It should be noted that from Immortal Spider Marketplace to Myriad Beasts mountain range, even with her utmost speed, it would take more than half a month. Yet Lu Chongqing and daughter Nangong Yaoyao took only about a month for their outing. In this time, The two even had time to play and catch spiritual pets? At this moment, Nan Gongmili could determine that Lu Chongqing must have some kind of flying magical treasure or mount, with extremely fast speed. Thinking about him having such a mount treasure, but not using it when traveling with her, Nan Gongmili felt quite annoyed. Could it be that this vile man deliberately tormented me along the way? Recalling the journey, Nan Gongmili felt humiliated and aggrieved, shooting a fierce look with her beautiful, clear phoenix eyes at Lu Chongqing. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1397. Yao Yao, I have something to tell you. She didn't look much at Lu Chongqing and immediately led her daughter away. Father. Nangong Yao Yao looked back at Lu Chongqing, blinked her big eyes, indicating she'd listened to her mother first. Although she was close to her mother, she had grown fond of Lu Chongqing as her father during their time together. Search * The Oval Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Seeing the relationship between her parents, she wondered if she could understand it better, perhaps act as a mediator to ease tensions. Go ahead. Lu Chongqing smiled. With his daughter around, he didn't bother to argue with this woman, Nan Gongmili. Otherwise, he would tell her why the millstone was so red. Wait. Lu Chongqing remembered he still had the wind centipede envoy suppressed within his formless treasure wheel and called out to Nan Gongmili. What is it? Nan Gongmili's figure was graceful, with curves that were bewitching. Her seductive and charming face was as cold as frost, without a shred of friendliness. Bang! An elder with disheveled hair, looking battered and with a centipede scar on his face, was thrown to the ground by Lu Chongqing. Treating this wind centipede envoy, Lu Chongqing naturally wouldn't be as gentle as he was with Nan Gongmili. To prevent the envoy from causing trouble within the formless treasure wheel, he directly punched him, breaking all his bones. Then, under the dual restraining and suppressing forces of the yin-yang qi grasp and formless treasure wheel, he also used the Tai divine soul to injure his soul, causing him to pass out entirely. This person previously caused trouble for Yao Yao. Handle this matter. Lu Chongqing said directly. He believed Meng Xiaochan had already told Nan Gongmili about this, so he was too lazy to elaborate. I'll take care of this matter. Nan Gongmili no longer showed a cold face, her delicate jade-like hand lightly raised, directly sweeping away the wind centipede envoy like a dead dog. Although this person was also an envoy of the Five Poisons cult, their relationship was not great. Moreover, he dared to lay hands on her daughter. If not for the rules of the cult, she would have directly killed him. Master. At this time, Meng Xiaochan hurried over and called out to Nan Gongmili. Xiaochan, I have something. Nan Gongmili initially wanted to call her disciple Meng Xiaochan away too. But considering Meng Xiaochan was now affected by the Lockhart goo, which had already influenced her soul, and since Lu Chongqing previously agreed to unlock the Lockhart goo for Meng Xiaochan, she swallowed her words back. I have something to say to Yao Yao, so you entertain him for now. Nan Gongmili spoke indifferently. Yes, master. Meng Xiaochan immediately showed a look of joy. During this period, she was also troubled by the relationship between Lu Chongqing and her master. She felt caught between them, unsure of how to proceed. Upon hearing her master's words, she felt relieved, sensing that their relationship was not as tense as she imagined. Xiaochan, I have something to ask you too. Lu Chongqing looked at Meng Xiaochan and said. Just yesterday, through the system enhancement, he saw that his son Lu Quanzhen's cultivation level had reached yet another breakthrough. From the 6th layer to the 7th layer of foundation establishment. In just a few days, he had broken through from the 5th layer to the 6th layer, and now to the 7th layer. This speed was simply astonishing. He naturally welcomed such things. But the problem was, he noticed his son Lu Quanzhen's lifespan had decreased again. This made the situation somewhat bizarre, with cultivation breakthroughs happening rapidly, yet the lifespan kept reducing. So Lu Chongqing thought of investigating his son's situation through Meng Xiaochan to see what was going on. All right. Meng Xiaochan immediately took Lu Chongqing to a side hall, served him tea and water, and inquired about his concerns. Xiaochan, I'd like you to help me find someone. Lu Chongqing spoke. Lu Lang, go ahead. Meng Xiaocan's beautiful eyes, filled with purple light, glimmered as she spoke with a smile at Lu Chongqing. Being with Lu Chongqing, even if they said nothing, filled her with joy. His name is Lu Chuanjin, cultivation level at Foundation Establishment middle stage. Lu Chongqing flicked his fingers, a water mirror appeared, revealing the appearance of his son Lu Chuanjin. Lu Chuanjin? Meng Xiaochan looked at the image in the water mirror, her brows slightly furrowed, feeling she had seen him somewhere before but failed to recall. Oh, and he has a 6-winged golden silkworm. Seeing her reaction, Lu Chongqing added, "What? A 6-winged golden silkworm?" Upon hearing this, Meng Xiaochan immediately remembered seeing the person on a wanted notice somewhere, and exclaimed, "Lu Lang, has this person practiced the poison technique?" "Poison technique? I wouldn't know that. Why, have you seen him?" Lu Chongqing, although aware that his son's cultivation method was the yin-yang 5 elements Kuanping technique, hadn't seen him in years, and was unsure about other aspects. "I think I have seen him." Meng Xiaochan recalled chasing the person once, biting her lip lightly, and said, "Recently, there was a cultivator named Chu Chongtian who was in some commotion because he was wanted by the ghost demon True Master. Since he had the 6-winged golden silkworm, I was also monitoring him and even encountered him." Chu Chongtian? Upon hearing this name, Lu Chongqing instantly determined that this person was indeed his son Lu Chuanjin. After all, people don't use their real names when outside. And the name differed from his uncle's, Chu Changga, by just one character. "It must be him. Xiaochan, tell me about the ghost demon True Master's wanted notice. What's going on?" Lu Chongqing immediately inquired. "If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1398. Regarding this aspect, I'm not clear on the specifics. I only know that he killed the son of Ghost Demon True Master early on, thus being hunted by Ghost Demon True Master. Meng Xiaochan softly spoke. She knew about this matter because Nangong Yao Yao wanted the 6-winged golden silkworm, so she paid attention to the news in this regard. Then about a year ago, a message suddenly spread that under the pursuit of Ghost Demon True Master's disciple, Tang Li and a group of Foundation Establishment cultivators, not only did he successfully escape, but he also killed the 9th-level Foundation Establishment Tang Li, causing quite a stir. Ghost Demon True Master was furious and offered a core formation spiritual object and a blood ghost condensing evil pill as a reward for him. Meng Xiaochan continued speaking. Lu Chongqing was surprised to hear this. Unexpectedly, his son had caused such a commotion in Jin Kingdom. He was even hunted by a nascent soul immortal for many years, and had been pursued by more than 10 Foundation Establishment cultivators at most. At this moment, he roughly understood the situation with his son's lifespan. It's likely that these years have been spent fighting desperately with others or on the run. With such a life, how can one not have a shortened lifespan? However, his son's battle achievements also astonished him greatly. Being chased by a 9th-level Foundation Establishment and over 10 Foundation Establishment cultivators, not only did he escape, he even killed one. Although he was not sure of these people's strength. But this, Tang Li, being a disciple of a nascent soul immortal, certainly has extraordinary strength, not the kind of trash Foundation Establishment. Lu Lang, this person is. Meng Xiaochan looked at Lu Chongqing with worried eyes and asked softly. "He is my son." Lu Chongqing exhaled deeply and said solemnly. "Indeed." Meng Xiaochan was somewhat relieved that she hadn't pursued persistently back then. She lightly bit her lips, feeling a bit uneasy, saying, "Earlier, I didn't know he was connected with Lu Lang, so half a year ago, when he appeared here in the Immortal Spider Marketplace, I also made a move against him." "It's okay, Xiaochan, do you know where he is now?" Lu Chongqing did not blame the other party. If Meng Xiaochan had known Lu Chuanjin was his son, she definitely wouldn't have made a move, and might even have protected him. So, in this kind of matter, he couldn't blame the other party either. Now he just wanted to know where Lu Chuanjin was, and what was his situation. The other party's cultivation level was breaking through crazily, yet his lifespan was constantly decreasing, indicating there was a problem with his current situation. Possibly he obtained some kind of fortune, but he might also have encountered danger. I'm not sure about this either. I'll send someone to investigate now. Meng Xiaochan immediately said. "All right, Xiaochan, thank you. If there's any news, inform me immediately." Lu Chongqing nodded. Seeing Meng Xiaochan walking out,
he still felt a bit uneasy, took out a blood-tracking talisman, and smeared his blood and Chu Zhenshin's blood on it. But this blood-tracking talisman could only sense the location of Nangong Yao Yao, and could not sense other bloodlines, indicating that Lu Chuanjin was either thousands of miles away or in some cave heaven's secret realm. Meanwhile, in another hall, Nangong Yao Yao, with an innocent and cheerful look, looped her arm around her mother's, concerned about her trip to Jiang country. However, when she mentioned her father, Nangong Mili's face immediately turned frosty, saying, "Don't associate with this person too much." "Why, I think Dad is quite good." Nangong Yao Yao became increasingly curious about her parents' relationship, trying to say something nice for her old father. And she took out the heavenly fragrance goo given by Lu Chongxing, saying, "Mom, look, this is also a gift from Dad. Whatever you want, just tell Mom." Nangong Mili saw her daughter had only known Lu Chongxing for 2 months, yet she was already speaking on behalf of the scoundrel man. A few sour and jealous feelings arose in her heart. However, when she saw the pink, fragrant silkworm in her daughter's hand, her phoenix eyes instantly focused, noticing something amiss. "This is..." She held the heavenly fragrance goo in her hand, carefully examining it. At the same time, the goo insects inside her body awoke, transmitting a mysterious stirring aura. Heavenly spirit goo? Nangong Mili's stunningly beautiful face was now filled with a surprised expression. Although she was a nascent soul immortal, she still didn't possess a heavenly spirit goo. On one hand, heavenly spirit goo is precious and rare, extremely difficult to obtain. On another hand, it is far too difficult to acquire a heavenly spirit goo that suits oneself. If the goo insects aren't suitable for oneself, even if it's a heavenly spirit goo, it would be a waste of time and effort to cultivate. She noticed this pink goo insect exudes a fragrant aroma, making one feel refreshed and conscious, instantly realizing this goo insect has a few matches with her daughter. "This is from that scoundrel. Your father gave it to you?" She looked at Nangong Yao Yao with a suspicious expression. It's known that heavenly spirit goo is incredibly rare. This scoundrel man not only obtained a heavenly spirit goo, but it also matched her daughter's constitution, clearly showing he spent significant effort, indicating he really does care deeply for this daughter in his heart. But the next moment, she recalled the time they were together, knowing he constantly abused her, offering no gifts, yet he was so focused on their daughter. This scoundrel man's eyes are indeed only for his own children. Nangong Mili recalled how Lu Chongxing abused her with myriad ways back in the day, yet his attitude changed dramatically upon knowing she was pregnant, expressing tender affection, a wave of sourness and melancholy in her heart. "Yes, Dad said this goo insect is called heavenly fragrance goo, and its effect is similar to my flawless heavenly fragrance body." Nangong Yao Yao introduced the effect of this heavenly fragrance goo to her mother with a bright, cute smile. On one hand, she was saying nice things for her old father. Sir the Novel Fire. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. On the other hand, she was also recognizing the situation of this goo insect through her mother. Heavenly fragrance goo. During the 4th transformation, it requires divine fragrance and others' faith incense to nurture. Could this be destiny? Nangong Mili heard these words, murmuring to herself in her heart. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1399. Through her daughter's words, she realized this goo insect was perfectly matched with her daughter. As long as this heavenly fragrance goo can be refined into a life-bound goo worm and properly nurtured, in the future, her daughter's flawless heavenly fragrance body will reach an unprecedented level. Additionally, the effects of this heavenly fragrance goo are very similar to the heritage of the immortal lotus sect. "Mother, what is this providence?" Nangong Yao Yao blinked her big eyes in confusion upon hearing her mother's words. "I've come to find you, as there is something I want to discuss with you." Nangong Mili took a deep breath and said earnestly, 5 days ago, an envoy from the immortal lotus sect, White Lotus True Monarch, came to the 5 Poisons cult. This visit was partly for matters within the cult, but also to select a few people to go to the immortal lotus sect, to strengthen the relationship between the 2 sections. Nangong Mili revealed the affairs of the immortal lotus sect to her daughter. Immortal lotus sect? Why does this name sound so familiar? Nangong Yao Yao tilted her head, feeling it sounded familiar. The next moment, her starry eyes brightened, her pink lips slightly parted, and she asked, "Mother, is it that immortal lotus sect that descends to the world and widely saves all beings?"
Yes. Nangong merely nodded, her expression somewhat solemn as she said, "The mortal world is like a prison, all beings suffer, cycles of rebirth endlessly, troubles never cease. Pitiful are the people, as the immortal lotus descends, to escape the sea of suffering, to forever enjoy peace and bliss, Lotus Holy Mother, pure land of the true family." The immortal lotus sect is one of the top-level forces in the southern wilderness, with a great true monarch overseeing it. During the righteous and demonic war, countless righteous and demonic cultivators were brought to the pure land of the true family by the immortal lotus sect. Yao Yao, you have the flawless heavenly fragrance body, which is highly compatible with the immortal lotus sect. If you could enter the sect, and obtain the sect's cultivation technique, Lotus Sutra of Worldly Salvation, there is a high probability you could break through to the nascent soul stage in the future. Nangong merely spoke, her phoenix-like eyes revealing a bit of longing. Although she was the heavenly spider envoy of the Five Poisons cult, she wasn't very confident about breaking through to the nascent soul stage. If her daughter could enter the immortal lotus sect, her prospects would far exceed those in the Five Poisons cult, making it highly likely for her to reach the nascent soul stage. If she's determined enough to become a holy maiden of the immortal lotus sect and receive strong cultivation support, reaching the nascent soul would be a certainty, and she might even aspire to become a great true monarch. Nascent soul peak cultivators are also known as great true monarchs by the world. In places like the Jin Kingdom, Zhang Country, and Yu Country, these cultivation nations have never seen a great true monarch in thousands of years, all stopping at the early stage of nascent soul. Immortal Lotus Sect. Nangong Yao Yao lightly pressed her delicate lips, feeling somewhat tempted. As one of the top-level forces in the southern wilderness, entering the Immortal Lotus Sect would naturally be a great fortune. But if entering the sect means separating from her mother, the old demon earlier attacked you because of this, trying to prevent you from participating in the selection, reducing a strong competitor for his grandson. Nangong Mili's eyes glinted coldly as she continued. After learning about the arrival of the Immortal Lotus Sect's envoy, she surmised why the Wind Centipede envoy would target her daughter. Others didn't know about her daughter's constitution, but as one of the core formation immortals in the Five Poisons cult, the Wind Centipede envoy was already aware that Nangong Yao Yao possessed a certain spiritual body, a bewitching body. This constitution was highly compatible with the heritage of the Immortal Lotus Sect. If his grandson were to compete against Nangong Yao Yao, he would likely not be a match. Hence, he wanted to deal with Nangong Yao Yao to remove a formidable opponent for his grandson. Mother, the matter isn't decided yet. If I enter the Immortal Lotus Sect as an ordinary disciple, then forget about it. Nangong Yao Yao said playfully without much sentimentality. If there's an opportunity and the conditions are good, she would naturally choose to enter the Immortal Lotus Sect. But if it's just as an ordinary disciple, it would be meaningless. With my Yao Yao's talent, how could she possibly be an ordinary disciple? Nangong Mili's phoenix-like eyes shimmered with motherly warmth as she affectionately pinched her daughter's fair cheek. Most parents consider their children their pride. Nangong Mili was no different. And Nangong Yao Yao indeed was Nangong Mili's pride, whom she had high hopes for, believing her daughter had the potential to reach the nascent soul stage in the future. Hee hee. The girl in the purple dress giggled in the beautiful woman's embrace, then continued, Mother, you also haven't told me what's up with Dad. Is there some conflict? Humph, don't mention that man. Now, when Nangong Mili heard her daughter mention Lu Chongqing, she felt a pang of resentment. After all, having raised her daughter for so many years, within just 2 months, she was speaking up for that despicable man, making her feel like her cherished child was slipping away. Earlier she could still say she could fulfill anything her daughter wanted. But that despicable man was clearly well prepared. After a barrage of sweet words and gifts, she was utterly defeated. If mother dislikes it, then Yao Yao won't bring it up, don't be angry. Nangong Yao Yao coaxingly hugged her, seeing her mother's demeanor. Nangong Mili, seeing her daughter's manner, immediately felt her heart soften, thinking that her daughter interacting with Lu Chongqing wasn't all bad. Although she cursed at the despicable man daily, through their long interactions, she also understood Lu Changsheng's character. He was very tolerant and forgiving to his own. Even though she went against him and cursed at him every day, aside from degrading himself, he did nothing much and even helped nurture her golden core. As for regarding children, he was impeccable. Sarch * the Defied. Et website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If her daughter spent more time with this father, it would also be a good thing. But thinking of her beloved daughter having a cordial time with Lu Chongqing made her very uneasy, fearing one day her daughter might be lured away by that despicable man. But thinking about the matter of the immortal lotus sect, Nan Gongmili gently stroked her daughter's head and softly said, "Go say goodbye to him, then come back to the cult with me for a while. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1400. MFM. Nan Gong Yao Yao didn't bring up her father's matter again and obediently replied, "Daddy." Nan Gong Yao Yao saw Lu Chongqing outside the grand hall, wearing a mystic robe, tall and upright. She immediately ran forward and called out sweetly, "Yao Yao." Lu Chongqing saw his precious daughter, immediately turned his head, smiled, and called out. Then he looked into the grand hall, where Nan Gongmili, dressed in a luxurious purple gown, with a tall figure, arms crossed, appeared haughty and arrogantly gorgeous. He thought to himself that this woman hadn't told their daughter too much about the matters between the two of them. Otherwise, if she really wanted the daughter to dislike him, it would have taken just a little embellishment, and there would always be a gap between father and daughter. However, having been together for so long, he also knew that Nan Gongmili was extremely proud and doted heavily on her daughter, unlikely to do such things. Moreover, she had a tsundere personality that admired strength. With his persistent effort in conquest, her icy heart had melted a bit, only that due to her character, she still put on airs. "Daddy, did you do something to let mommy down? Why does she get angry whenever I mention you?" Nan Gong Yao Yao said playfully, with a face full of smiles. Having previously spent time with Lu Chongqing, she knew her father was amiable and talked naturally and with ease about her mother. Lu Chongqing glanced at Nan Gongmili not far away, rubbed his daughter's small head with a smile and said gently, "There are some small conflicts between your mom and me, but don't worry, Daddy will take care of it." He naturally didn't want their affairs to affect his daughter, causing any negative impact on her. "Ah, Daddy, you really did do something to let mommy down." Nan Gong Yao Yao opened her pink lips slightly, looking somewhat surprised at her father. Then she wrinkled her delicate fairy-like nose and pouted, saying, "Humph, who told you to be Daddy? Tell me what's going on, and I'll persuade mommy later." As she spoke, she leaned closer to Lu Chongqing, her voice lowering, looking incredibly cute. "Adults matters, children shouldn't fret over." Lu Chongqing chuckled and lightly flicked her fair forehead, saying, "Humph, bad Daddy, I was trying to help, yet you still hit me. I'm not talking to you anymore." The girl puffed out her cheeks, as if a delicate budding flower, her voice carrying a hint of playful grievance. All right, Daddy was wrong." Even though Lu Chongqing knew his daughter was just acting, seeing her so adorably aggrieved, his heart couldn't help but soften. As the saying goes, the crying child gets the milk. And this nature of Nan Gong Yao Yao, naturally endearing to people. Yao Yao. At this moment, Nan Gongmili saw her daughter chatting and joking with Lu Chongqing, even acting coy, and immediately called out unhappily. Her daughter used to only act coquettishly with her, now she was doing it with this man, making her feel as if her cherished possession was being taken away. "Daddy, I need to go back to the cult with mommy, and won't be able to stay with you for a while." Nan Gong Yao Yao stuck out her tongue cutely and said, "Is there something up?" Lu Chongqing was a bit surprised. He just returned with Nan Gong Yao Yao, and now she needed to go back to the Five Poisons cult with Nan Gongmili. It seemed quite coincidental. "Mommy said an envoy from the Immortal Lotus sect is coming and we need to go over." Nan Gong Yao Yao explained. "Immortal Lotus sect?" Upon hearing the name, Lu Changsheng's expression slightly tensed. He had heard this name from Ling Zixiao. 1,000 years ago, 7 top-level demonic sects formed an alliance, waging war and sweeping across half of the southern wilderness cultivation realm. Among these 7 demonic forces was the Immortal Lotus sect. Logically, the Immortal Lotus sect was quite far from the Gene Kingdom, spanning several cultivation nations. Why would they come to the Five Poisons cult? "Let's go, Yao Yao." Nan Gongmili coldly called out, urging her daughter to follow. "Goodbye, Daddy." Nan Gong Yao Yao, seemingly afraid of angering her mother, secretly transmitted a message, then waved her hand. "MHM." Lu Chongqing responded with a smile, planning to later ask Meng Xiaochan if she knew what was up with the Immortal Lotus sect. A moment later, Meng Xiaochan returned and informed Lu Chongqing that she had already sent people to investigate Lu Quanzhen's whereabouts.
not only through the channels of the Five Poisons cult, but also sending people to other marketplaces to purchase intelligence on Lu Chuanjun.
All right, thank you for your hard work, Xiaochan. Lu Chongqing nodded, then asked, Xiaochan, do you know why the Immortal Lotus sect is coming to the Five Poisons cult? The Immortal Lotus sect is coming to the Five Poisons cult? Meng Xiaochan was taken aback, unaware of the matter. Upon seeing this, Lu Chongqing did not pursue the matter further. He planned to inquire later with Nangong Mili or his daughter Nangong Yaoyao. 3 days later, Lu Chongqing felt a surge of dense mana appear out of thin air. Through the system, he saw his son Lu Chuanjun broke through to the 8th layer of Foundation establishment. This speed was beyond astonishing, utterly shocking. Looking at the system panel, seeing his son's lifespan reduced by another 13 years, he realized there was definitely a problem, a big problem. At this moment, Meng Xiaochan came with news for Lu Chongqing. 3 months ago, Lu Chuanjun appeared at a black market on Black Demon Mountain. Then his identity was exposed, leading to an assassination attempt. Moreover, there were rumors that the Ghost Demon True Master had emerged from seclusion, personally leading the chase against Lu Chuanjun. The Ghost Demon True Master personally took action? Upon hearing this, Lu Changsheng's eyes slightly narrowed, realizing his son was in grave danger now. His reckless cultivation advancement was most likely linked to the Ghost Demon True Master. Is there any intelligence on the whereabouts of the Ghost Demon True Master? Lu Chongqing immediately inquired. If Lu Chuanjun kept advancing recklessly, severe problems would surely arise. I have already dispatched people to investigate the movements of the Ghost Demon True Master, but it will take some time. Meng Xiaochan gently bit her lip, sensing Lu Changsheng's worry. Where is the largest intelligence organization here in Jin Kingdom? I'll go directly. Lu Chongqing took a deep breath and stated directly. Given his son's situation, he no longer had the patience to wait around for information. Lu Lang can head to the ancient secluded Immortal City and purchase related intelligence from the Shadow Tower there. Meng Xiaochan immediately suggested, introducing the situation of this Immortal City to Lu Chongqing. The fact that Lu Chuanjun appeared near Black Demon Mountain indicated he might be in the vicinity of that area. All right, I'll head over. If you receive any information, immediately crush the jade talisman I gave you, and I'll return at once. Lu Chongqing nodded, speaking in a deep tone. He then quickly left the Immortal Spider Marketplace, released the golden-winged heavenly Pong, and looked at the map, rushing towards the ancient secluded Immortal City at top speed. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1401. Five Poisons Cult. Amidst the swirling clouds and mist, on a mountain peak vibrant with colors, stood a temple resembling an emerald poison scorpion lying in wait. The great hall was strange and magnificent, filled with an aura of grandeur and antiquity, square in shape and covered with multicolored vines. Among the vines and trees, many snakes, insects, centipedes, and spiders crawled, making rustling, unsettling sounds that enveloped the entire hall in a mysterious and unpredictable atmosphere. Tap, tap, tap. At this moment, figures with solemn expressions and respectful demeanors ascended the jade steps, arriving before the temple. Mother! Today, Nangong Yaoyao's attire was entirely different from usual. A simple purple dress embroidered with snakes, scorpions, spiders, and butterflies. Her jade neck, snow-white hands, slender waist, and ankles were all adorned with exquisitely designed multicolored silver jewelry. Her long black glossy hair was braided into intricate plaits, and she wore an ancient heavy silver crown, lending her an air of enigmatic mystery. This was the attire of the Five Poisons cult, only worn on significant occasions. Nangong Mili and other cultivators of the Five Poisons cult were dressed similarly. However, compared to her daughter Nangong Yaoyao, Nangong Mili's dress and silver accessories were even more elaborate, luxurious, and heavy. Don't be nervous. Nangong Mili smiled at her daughter, indicating she needn't worry. Yet despite her words, she herself was a bit anxious. After all, what was about to happen might affect her daughter's future. Come in. A moment later, a crisp, youthful voice filled with authority resonated from within the hall. Yes. These people immediately bowed, then whispered a few words to the young men and women beside them, entering the hall with full respect and solemnity. The hall was vast and profound, with walls depicting lifelike goo insects, snakes, scorpions, and poison beasts, permeated with an indescribable scent of goo poison, causing their own goo insects to become particularly active at this moment. Greetings to the sect hierarch, greetings to the White Lotus True Monarch. Greetings to the sect hierarch, greetings to the White Lotus True Monarch. Greetings to the sect hierarch, greetings to the White Lotus True Monarch. Upon entering the deep recesses of the hall, they immediately saw above, seated, a girl of 7 or 8, with a jade-like face, delicate and exquisite, and a figure like a goddess, seemingly bathed in holy light. However, they dared not look too closely, and upon entering, they swiftly bowed, fearing to show disrespect. True Monarch. At this point, the Five Poisons cult leader looked at the White Lotus True Monarch beside her, speaking with a touch of reverence. Though both were nascent soul true lords. Even among nascent soul there are ranks and distinctions. For a nascent soul cultivator like White Lotus True Monarch, even as merely an elder of the Immortal Lotus sect, her status, position, and strength were not something the leader of a cult like her could compare to. No need for excessive formalities. Raise your heads. The White Lotus True Monarch's voice was like a gentle breeze, or like distant white clouds, soft and graceful, calming and refreshing, giving all the cultivators present a sense of relief, making their minds and bodies feel light and naturally serene. Is this the means of the Immortal Lotus sect? The cultivators of the Five Poisons cult present naturally understood many strange and unorthodox methods. Through these captivating and alluring words, they realized the terror of the White Lotus True Monarch. A mere gesture could capture one's mental spirit. Is this the sect hierarch and the White Lotus True Monarch? Nangong Yao Yao slowly raised her head, only then seeing clearly the appearance of her own sect hierarch and this envoy of the Immortal Lotus sect. Though she was a disciple of the Five Poisons cult, and her mother was the heavenly spider envoy of the Five Poisons cult, it was her first time seeing the Five Poisons cult leader. However, she already knew what the cult leader looked like, so she wasn't too surprised. But when she looked at the White Lotus True Monarch, her expression froze, somewhat bewildered. The White Lotus True Monarch was exceedingly beautiful, an illusion of beauty like a celestial being. Her white lotus long dress outlined endless graceful curves, and her skin was as snow-white as ice, emanating an indescribable dignified holiness. Her face, jade-like body, every inch of skin, even every strand of hair was exuding a flawless white sheen, as if bathed in a veil of holy light. At the moment she saw her, Nangong Yao Yao felt a holy aura coming straight towards her. Her physical body, and her soul at this moment, seemed filled with impurity, wanting to kneel before her to purify her soul. Not only her, but other cultivators of the Five Poisons cult, even Nangong merely felt a slight daze and a surge of inexplicable agitation upon seeing the White Lotus True Monarch. However, being core formation true man, they soon regained clarity, and a wave of shock surged within their hearts. It was too strange. The White Lotus True Monarch was truly too strange. Just sitting still, a single glance could influence their mental spirit. At this moment, they gained some understanding of the terror that was the Immortal Lotus sect. The White Lotus True Monarch had a faintly discernible holy smile at the corner of her lips, scrutinizing the people before her. When her gaze fell upon Nangong Yao Yao, her crystalline, holy eyes flickered with ripples, her expression filled with wonder, eyebrows like painted moths, eyes shining with stars, fragrant skin and jade-like complexion, carved from jade, immensely charming, utterly magnificent, radiant as spring blossoms. How can one person possess so many beautiful features? Wait, national beauty and heavenly fragrance. This is the aspect of national beauty and heavenly fragrance, merging various beautiful features. The White Lotus True Monarch looked at Nangong Yao Yao before her, examining her brows, eyes, and facial features, her slender jade-like body, her beautiful eyes filled with a look of joyful surprise. This was not merely praising Nangong Yao Yao's beauty, but the observation skill of the Immortal Lotus sect. The cultivation technique of the Immortal Lotus sect placed great emphasis on appearance, even categorizing human appearance into ranks, such as flower-like looks, fresh as a lotus emerging from water, a face like a peach blossom, divine and bone-charming elegance, and icy skin and jade-like complexion, among others. Possessing any one of these beautiful features, with charming technique cultivation, would lead to achieving twice the result with half the effort and becoming a disciple of the Immortal Lotus sect. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., Please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1402. If one possesses various beautiful features, especially the higher tier features, it greatly aligns with the immortal lotus sex traditions. Among these features, the exceptional beauty is paramount, a crown among the blossoms, reigning supreme. Such a rare find, even for the immortal lotus sect, is something hard to come by. Too beautiful, truly too beautiful. Not only does she possess exceptional beauty, but she also has a spiritual body. Her entire being is flawless, pure and immaculate, her body fragrant. This is the flawless heavenly fragrance body. She kept observing Nangong Yaoyao before her beautiful eyes full of admiration and delight. Unexpectedly, on this journey, she encountered a candidate with exceptional beauty. If she were accepted as a disciple and taken back to the sect for proper cultivation, she would become a nascent soul seed for her branch. With such talent, this girl might even compete for the position of holy maiden in the future after breaking through nascent soul. The only regret she felt was that Nangong Yaoyao had already broken through foundation establishment. If she hadn't started cultivating, or just begun, she would be impeccable. Beside her, the Five Poisons cult leader, dressed in a purple and red skirt and barefooted, followed White Lotus True Monarch's gaze to look at Nangong Yaoyao, her expression somewhat astonished. She was somewhat aware of Nangong Yaoyao's situation. 3 days ago, Nangong merely reported the matter of the wind centipede emissary to her. She stated that her daughter had the flawless heavenly fragrance body, hence she encountered the wind centipede emissary's attack. Initially, she intended to speak favorably of Nangong Yaoyao, but didn't expect the White Lotus True Monarch to immediately take a liking to her. But even the flawless heavenly fragrance body wouldn't cause this true monarch to display such an expression, right? What is your name? Surrounded by a halo of holy light, White Lotus True Monarch approached Nangong Yaoyao, speaking softly. Replying to True Monarch, my name is Nangong Yaoyao. Facing this White Lotus True Monarch, for some reason, Nangong Yaoyao felt a sense similar to when she first saw her father's true appearance. Like being in a refreshing spring breeze, a feeling of closeness and no sense of oppressive might. She understood that this was the charm technique cultivated to the state of being one with oneself. Nangong Yaoyao. White Lotus True Monarch smiled and said, you should join my immortal lotus sect. Are you willing to be my disciple? What? This? With these words, everyone present was astonished, looking at Nangong Yaoyao with incredulity. No one expected that in such a short moment, the White Lotus True Monarch would want to accept Nangong Yaoyao as a disciple. It's well known in the cultivation world, the master-disciple relationship is no trivial matter, symbolizing inheritance. Although many demonic path cultivators take disciples with ulterior motives. But the White Lotus True Monarch here is a nascent soul true lord. The cultivator of this caliber, whose words carry great weight, would unlikely do such a thing under the guise of accepting a disciple. At this moment, several core formation true men looked enviously at Nangong Meili. Nangong Yaoyao being noticed by White Lotus True Monarch and accepted as a disciple would likely elevate Nangong Meili's status as the heavenly spider emissary in the Five Poisons cult. Other Qi refinement and foundation establishment disciples also looked at Nangong Yaoyao with envy and jealousy. Because everyone knows that coming here today is like a fish jumping the dragon gate. A chance. If noticed by White Lotus True Monarch and admitted into the immortal Lotus sect, becoming a bridge between the two sects, it equates to gaining the core formation opportunity, and in high probability, reaching core formation in the future. But Nangong Yaoyao was not only noticed by White Lotus True Monarch but also proactively accepted as a disciple by her. What kind of fortuity is this? This is an unparalleled opportunity. Even Nangong Meili at this moment was in a daze, wondering if she heard correctly. After all, she was only confident her daughter could be selected for the immortal Lotus sect, not expecting White Lotus True Monarch to directly take a liking and speak of accepting her as a disciple. Being favored by True Monarch, it is Yaoyao's great fortune. I wonder what virtue and ability does Yaoyao possess to be noticed by True Monarch? Nangong Yaoyao lightly pressed her tender lips, her expression joyful, excited yet a little fearful and speechless. Little girl's disposition is quite admirable. Facing my acceptance, she doesn't immediately agree. White Lotus True Monarch saw that Nangong Yaoyao wasn't as outwardly joyous and fearful as she appeared, but was actually questioning the purpose behind her acceptance. However, she didn't mind this and even nodded approvingly. After all,
For White Lotus True Monarch, accepting disciples is about talent and appearance, and also testing the heart and nature. But as Nangong Yao Yao possessed a spiritual body and had exceptional beauty, once taken back to the sect, all other nascent soul true lords might compete with her. So she bypassed the test of nature and directly spoke of acceptance. Do you know anything about the Immortal Lotus sect? White Lotus True Monarch, with a face of unmatched grace, her body radiating a dignified and concrete holy light, very sacred. The mortal world is like a prison, all living beings suffer, reincarnation never ceases, troubles never end, pity for the people, the lotus descends from heaven, escaping the sea of suffering, eternal peace, Lotus Holy Mother, true ethereal homeland. Nangong Yao Yao immediately bowed, a face full of respect, sincerely said. Hee hee. White Lotus True Monarch wore a faint holy smile, chuckled lightly, her voice seemingly close yet like coming from afar. Although the doctrine is so, she knew that her Immortal Lotus sect's image in the hearts of the Five Poisons cult and other demonic sections. My Immortal Lotus sect accepts disciples differently from other sects, valuing not only spiritual root talent but also appearance and features. White Lotus True Monarch's voice was delicate, serene, and comfortable, slowly said. Features rank in levels, and among various beautiful features, the exceptional beauty is paramount. You have the exceptional beauty. She looked at Nangong Yao Yao and said, Exceptional beauty? The cultivators present, while knowing of the Immortal Lotus sect, had little knowledge of it. Hearing this now, they realized it had something to do with appearance and looks. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1403. The appearance of Nangong Yao Yao in front of them is indeed flawless, with unparalleled beauty, admired by countless disciples of the Five Poisons cult. But merely being noticed for her looks by a nascent soul true lord is somewhat excessive, isn't it? Upon hearing this, Nangong Mili's emotions surged with excitement. She was confident that her daughter would join the Immortal Lotus sect, knowing that her daughter's spiritual body was compatible with it. But she never imagined that the Immortal Lotus sect would also assess appearances. And her daughter turned out to be the foremost among appearances. At this moment, a pride unlike any other welled up within her. After all, this was her daughter, who perfectly inherited her peerless beauty. And your spiritual body combined with this heavenly appearance is a natural match, perfectly fitting for the inheritance of our Immortal Lotus sect, which is why I am also quite fond of you. White Lotus True Monarch smiled serenely and charmingly, her voice filled with poetic beauty, evoking an instinctive good feeling. Spiritual body. Cultivators present heard these words, their expressions suddenly clearing. They realized that Nangong Yao Yao's spiritual body was far from ordinary. Only thus could a nascent soul true lord speak of taking her as a disciple. Hidden really well. They looked at Nangong Mili, pondering in their hearts. All these years, they had never heard talk of Nangong Yao Yao's spiritual body. Heavenly appearance. Nangong Yao Yao herself was also a bit surprised. She didn't expect her appearance to match the inheritance of the Immortal Lotus sect. Moreover, this White Lotus True Monarch said her spiritual body and heavenly appearance were a perfect match. Did she see her spiritual body at a glance? To know when she was young, her mother had found an exotic treasure to conceal her spiritual body, making it impossible for others to see. Heavenly appearance. Does that mean my mother is also like this? She said with a joyful and astonished expression, looking towards her mother, Nangong Mili. Mother. White Lotus True Monarch discerned the meaning in Nangong Yao Yao's words, reluctant to part from her mother. Your mother indeed possesses various beautiful appearances, surpassing in charm, brilliant, stunning in beauty, but lacks the heavenly appearance. She glanced at Nangong Mili, her voice gentle and calm, commenting. The Nangong Mili before her indeed had excellent looks, possessing various beautiful appearances. If she had joined their Immortal Lotus sect in her early years, she might have had boundless potential and could have been a true inheritor. But now that Nangong Mili had already formed a core, even if she joined the Immortal Lotus sect, she could only be part of the outer sect. And her visit to the Five Poisons cult this time wasn't to recruit people. How could she take someone else's nascent soul cultivator away? Moreover, Nangong Yao Yao was already an adult, and she wanted to take her as a disciple, for complete dedication to the Immortal Lotus sect, requiring less contact with relatives. True Monarch, Yao Yao has now broken through foundation establishment, If she becomes your disciple, will there be any effects? Nangong Yao Yao gently pursed her lips and continued to speak, looking somewhat apprehensive. Your cultivation technique is also in line with our Immortal Lotus sect. As long as you are willing to become my disciple, I can make an exception to open the Immortal Lotus pool for you, cleanse the mundane, refine your Tao foundation, and perfectly turn your cultivation to our Immortal Lotus sect's inheritance. White Lotus True Monarch heard that the girl was negotiating for herself, and she did not mind. On one hand, such a talent indeed warrants her resource investment in nurturing. On the other, in her view, knowing to seek benefits for oneself is a good thing. In the cultivation world, what doesn't require you to fight for? Those who are strong remain strong. Only by daring to fight, must one fight, can climb to the peak of the immortal path. If timid and weak, mediocre in character, choosing to become a disciple in ignorance, she might look down upon it. Moreover, her visit to the Five Poisons cult was to lay out future plans. In the event of a future great tribulation, her disciples must dare to fight. Only thus can they emerge in the future great tribulation, becoming the holy maiden of the Immortal Lotus sect, securing enough benefits for her White Lotus lineage. However, the other cultivators present saw that Nangong Yao Yao, when faced with the offer to become a disciple of the true monarch, hesitated and asked conditions, wiping a sweat out of nervousness for her. Feeling the girl was unappreciative, yet also bold and audacious, filled with demon nature. Yao Yao! Nangong merely called out anxiously, fearing her daughter would continue to delay and offend the White Lotus true monarch. After all, the Immortal Lotus sect is originally a demon path sect, extremely treacherous. Present before them was the White Lotus true monarch, a demon true man yet exuding a holy light as if purifying others' bodies and souls, also full of evil intent. She was truly afraid her daughter would anger her. If she were to act against her daughter, even as her mother, she couldn't stop her. Yao Yao was momentarily anxious and curious. Please don't blame her, master. Upon hearing this, Nangong Yao Yao quickly turned around and said. In her words, she promptly knelt before the White Lotus true monarch, solemnly performing the disciple ceremony. Disciple Nangong Yao Yao pays respects to master. How is this wrong? Taking on disciples is not a one-sided word. White Lotus true monarch said with a smile, extending a hand glowing with holy white light to gently lift Nangong Yao Yao up, saying, Since you are willing to be my disciple, upon returning to the sect, this master will hold a disciple ceremony for you. For a nascent soul true monarch like her to take on disciples, it is naturally no small matter, and requires informing the sect. Besides this, she also intended to assess Nangong Yao Yao further, to see the specific temperament of the other, and decide if she would be an ordinary disciple, or an intimate true inheritor, whether to hold a grand disciple ceremony. Thank you, master. Nangong Yao Yao immediately responded with a face of obedient compliance. However, everyone present knew that this girl was not as innocent and carefree as she appeared on the surface. Five Poisons true monarch, thanks to your luck, I have accepted an excellent disciple. These few individuals I will take to the Immortal Lotus sect, and in time, the two families may visit frequently. At this time, White Lotus true monarch looked to the Five Poisons cult leader beside her. Though these individuals were intended for her selection, to be taken to the Immortal Lotus sect. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1404. But her choice to take in apprentices had a different meaning. To repay this favor, she brought everyone along. Thank you, true monarch. The others, upon hearing this, were overjoyed, never expecting that they would all be chosen. True monarch is too courteous. The young girl smiled and said. Those who were brought along were all disciples with deep roots in the Five Poisons cult, carrying profound emotions. Even if they joined Immortal Lotus sect, with their hearts inclined towards it in the future, they still had family and elders in the Five Poisons cult. Therefore there would be some ties between the two sects in the future. Afterwards, she looked at Nangong Meili, dressed in a purple gown, and said, Heavenly Spider Envoy, you have given birth to a good daughter. Now that Nangong Yao Yao had become a disciple under White Lotus true monarch, her importance to Nangong Meili rose a level higher. That Yao Yao could become a disciple under the true monarch is her fortune. Nangong Meili replied respectfully. You possess various talents and are destined to have a connection with our Immortal Lotus sect. Here is a cultivation technique inheritance and a magical treasure for you.
If you succeed in your cultivation in the future, you can come to the Immortal Lotus sect, and I will bestow upon you another opportunity. Hearing this, White Lotus True Monarch looked at Nangong Meili, raised her jade hand lightly, and placed a cultivation technique inheritance and a pure white lotus in front of her. Since she intended to take in apprentices, she naturally wanted to leave a good impression on both sides. Of course, this inheritance and magical treasure also served as a message to Nangong Meili, indicating that before her cultivation took shape, she shouldn't come to Immortal Lotus sect seeking her own disciple. Thank you, True Monarch. Nangong Meili understood the meaning behind this and dared not refuse, accepting the jade slip and treasure with respect. My disciple, say farewell to your family and friends. White Lotus True Monarch looked at Nangong Yaoyao, then at the others and said indifferently, You all can go as well. Thank you, Master. Thank you, True Monarch. Nangong Yaoyao and the other 5 respectfully saluted. Afterwards, these people looked at Nangong Yaoyao, all carrying a fawning expression. Even though previously in the 5 Poisons cult, their status was on par with Nangong Yaoyao. But now that Nangong Yaoyao was taken as a disciple by White Lotus True Monarch, there was a vast difference in their identities. Mother, Yaoyao won't be able to accompany you from now on. After Nangong Yaoyao and Nangong Meili walked out of the main hall, her eyes turned slightly red as she spoke. You've been intelligent and understanding since childhood, but upon going to Immortal Lotus sect, you must speak and act with caution and earn the True Monarch's favor. Nangong Meili's eyes were also red, her face full of reluctance. Her daughter was raised by her side since childhood, the longest separation being her recent journey to the Tianyuan secret realm. Having just returned from Jiang country, she now had to part with her daughter again. And who knows how long it will be before they reunite. Mother, I also wish to bid farewell to father. Nangong Yaoyao lightly bit her lip, looking at her mother. All right, mother will take you there. Nangong Meili did not scold her daughter, and directly summoned a magical treasure, taking her daughter headlong towards the Immortal Spider Marketplace, lest they delay White Lotus True Monarch's time. Nangong Meili and her daughter Nangong Yaoyao arrived at the Immortal Spider Marketplace, only to discover that Lu Chongqing had left. Ancient Secluded Immortal City? What is he doing going to Ancient Secluded Immortal City? Nangong Meili frowned slightly, voicing her thoughts. The Chu Chong Tian wanted by the Ghost Demon True Master is Lu Lang's son. Lu Lang heard that Ghost Demon True Master personally went to hunt down Chu Chong Tian, so he planned to go to Ancient Secluded Immortal City to find the Shadow Tower to purchase intelligence on Ghost Demon True Master, hoping to locate Chu Chong Tian. Explained Meng Xiaochan. Ha! Nangong Yaoyao was stunned and somewhat bewildered. Unexpectedly, the black-robed youth with the 6-winged golden silkworm was her half-brother? That Chu Chong Tian is my brother? She looked at Meng Xiaochan in astonishment. Indeed, his real name is Lu Chuanjun, Lu Lang's son. Meng Xiaochan shook her head with a wry smile, then said softly, Yaoyao, I told Lu Lang about this, and we didn't know his identity back then, so when you meet him in the future, just apologize. Lu Chuanjun? How many sons and daughters does this useless man have? Nangong Meili was also somewhat surprised. She had heard about the events concerning Chu Chong Tian from Meng Xiaochan in the past and had paid a little attention. Knowing this person's extraordinary prowess. As a loose cultivator, despite being wanted by Ghost Demon True Master, he not only remained unscathed but even rose powerfully. Unexpectedly, he was also Lu Changsheng's son. Back in Jiang country, she had dug into Lu Changsheng's detailed information. She knew he had a body refining genius son, named Lu Pingon, who reached near 3rd rank body refining in just 60 years. A truly astonishing feat. He also had a daughter named Lu Wangshu, who inherited this useless man's so-called talismanic inheritance, and shortly after breaking through to Foundation Establishment, defeated 6 Foundation Establishment cultivators alone. Even if these 6 were mere weaklings at Foundation Establishment, it was still quite remarkable. Besides these 2, she learned that Lu Chongqing had another son named Lu Qingshan. This son was exceptionally talented in the Sword Dao, joined Yu country's Jinyang sect, and once went to the Heavenly Sword sect to challenge their sword, emerging unmatched among peers. In this circumstance, there was now another son named Lu Chuanjun. Counting her own daughter Nangong Yaoyao, this useless man seems to have struck a streak of incredible luck to have so many prodigious offspring. Imagine, an ordinary family with just one such child could thrive for 100 years. With 5 at once, not even an ancestral grave erupting would be this exaggerated, would it? Even if this useless man possesses an unparalleled Taoist body, isn't this overly exaggerated? Besides, isn't his Taoist body supposed to specialize in dual cultivation? Why is his fertility also so astonishing? Nangong merely murmured to herself. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible.